In a pretty good position right now. Texas is a deep red state. Is there anything to learn from some of the counties within a deep red state like that?
Well, it's you know
we've been talking about this as the gender election, and boy, talk about groups of voters that are not a monolith. Men and women are not monolithic. They do not vote uniformly. I think we really got to look at and especially as the exit polls come back more, match that up with the actual vote tallies. I think we're going to have to look at some of the key dynamics, what people are talking about, what concerns them. Abortion is not the only animating issue for women. I heard a lot about the economy too. Trump seems to do better on the economy with women, but that's also not always the case. Harris has been cutting and had been cutting into that. So it's elections are always wild. There's always surprises on election night.
Tom, while we have you, though, let's focus our efforts on one more key Senate race we're watching. Let's go to Wisconsin now between Democratic incumbent Tammy Baldwin and her Republican challenger, Eric Hovde there. This is only with around 22% of estimated votes counted. Baldwin up over Hovde, not by much, though. How much trouble is Tammy Baldwin in? Should Democrats be worried?
Could be. Could be. This is, okay, so we were talking earlier about split ticket voting. This is one of the strangest things I've seen this election. Tammy Baldwin has put out some mailers or advertisements where the Democrats was talking about supporting Trump trade policies back when he was in office. I mean, the political bedfellows this cycle are some of the strangest I've ever seen. Now, she could be in good shape. One of the things, over on the 24 Site podcast, the Brown Game podcast I run out on 24 Site with my friend Patrick Kingston, we had on Charlie Sykes a little while ago, and he was talking about how Republicans used to have a very good ground operation in Wisconsin. Scott Walker, Bryce Previs, back in the day, about a decade ago. Democrats have usurped that and have done a lot better under Ben Wickler, Democratic Party chair in Wisconsin. Ground games, turnout, operations, those things matter, especially in tight races like this. So, it's not unforeseeable that she wins and Trump wins too in Wisconsin. That's not out of the realm of possibility here.
Let's back up here. Let's go back to political science 101 for a minute, Tom. Explain to us why we're talking so much about the balance of power in the Senate and the House. How does that dictate how powerful of a president we're going to be working with?
Well, I'll tell you, you hear voters complain a lot about how Washington doesn't get anything done and need to return to normal order. It is incredibly hard to pass legislation through Congress and get it to any president's desk these days. And certainly a lot of that has to do with the Senate. You need to be able to break a filibuster. With the exception of the courts, it's 60 votes. And, neither side, the traditionalists in the Senate, have wanted to touch that. Okay? So in a strong sense, no matter if you get a Harris presidency or a Trump presidency again, it's not a guarantee that you're going to be able to move things. Now, where that comes into play is those nominations, and whether you're able to get actually confirmed the judges, but also the secretaries, the cabinet. If you're able to get them confirmed, that gives them more power. And that's really important here. And the Senate Republicans could be. I mean, they look to be in a very strong position right now. If this goes as it looks like it with John Thune potentially becoming the Senate Majority Leader. And again, a lot of things still yet to play out within the Senate Republican Conference. That would give Senate Republicans and Senator John Thune out of South Dakota a lot of power.
Tom, speaking of who would be in charge of Senate Republicans, who would be the leader there, we aired Rick Scott's victory speech last night.
gran preocupación. O sea, principalmente con los resultados, por ejemplo, en Florida.
What's going to happen? It's very tight, isn't it? Which is quite interesting. And I guess there are two possible outcomes. Obviously, a Harris win would be pretty much a continuation of business as usual, as Australia and the US have conducted over the years of the Biden administration. A Trump win would really present challenges in two ways, bilaterally and multilaterally. Bilaterally, we do pretty well. There was concerns, and of course, under the first Trump administration, that Australia might be hurt by his tariffs and some of those mercantilist policies that he put into place in America. But we were given special treatment. So we were given exemptions from the steel tariffs and the aluminium tariffs, which really helped us. That special relationship between Australia and the US alliance has been forged over a century on the battlefield, but also as close friends and allies in the Pacific. It really means something. And it means something to Trump as well. You might remember early in the Trump administration, Malcolm Turnbull went over to Washington and President Trump agreed to honour the refugee deal that was struck under the Obama administration, which wasn't much of a deal for the US. It was very good for Australia, very professional to us, but he honoured that in the spirit of the bilateral relationship. And I think he would do that too with AUKUS. So I think bilaterally, there'll be concerns and people will be worried that if the first Trump administration is a guide, we'll do pretty well. And that always seems to be the case, irrespective of who inhabits the White House in Washington. Multilaterally, it's a different story. If Donald Trump does follow through with these threats, particularly with the tariffs, and he embarks on another major trade war, that will affect us because it will affect international economies. It will affect our major trading partner, China, and its ability to buy our coal and iron ore and LNG and the rest of it and all other goods. So that will have a material impact on us. His foreign policy will have an impact on us. Does he take a hard line if he wins tonight against NATO? Does he demand those NATO countries start paying their way? Does he allow Russia to have an upper hand in the war with Ukraine and push for Ukraine to cede land? What does he do in the Middle East? All these uncertainties will cause big trouble in the international community, in the global economy, and have impacts on us. So bilaterally, I think we'll do all right, whatever the outcome. Multilaterally, it's a different story, guys.
Yeah, Mark, just a brief one, just on domestic policies. Both sides will be looking at the election issues that have worked or not worked with either Harris or Trump. Trump has gone hard on immigration, hard on the economy. I guess Kamala Harris has asked for the goodwill and hope and a future and more ideological positions. There's some similarities there between the way Anthony Albanese has been running a government and the way Peter Dutton's been running his shoes as opposition leader. What do you make of what they'll be watching and taking away from this?
Yeah, sure. The issues, I think they're universal issues at the moment, Michael, for incumbents. Of course, there are profound differences domestically between our electoral system here and the electoral system in the US and particularly our politics. But generally, in the broad, yes, the two issues are pretty obvious. It's cost of living first, and there are then national security issues, which at the moment are running.
Serum cereal is the solution your business needs to win like a champion. It's toasty. If she doesn't win. Well, there you go. Thank you very much, Liz remarks. Some of the kind of stark, very emotional sentiment that we have been hearing here. But you go out to some of the suburbs, like DeKalb, like Cobb County, where I've witnessed a lot more kind of moderate sentiment as well. People that say, actually, I'm willing to make a compromise with Donald Trump. No, I don't want him to be my children's Sunday school teacher. No, I don't like some of the things he says, but I still believe that he can manage the economy better than Kamala Harris. I think I've definitely witnessed in the state of Georgia this idea that even if Democrats have got the average income of a household up, if unemployment's down, people aren't necessarily feeling it. And that is the challenge that Kamala Harris faces in this state. Is she able to overcome that at this stage? It's just too close to.
All right, Cordelia, thank you very much indeed.
Well, we've got just under 2 minutes until our next lot of polls close. I'm being told Montana, Nevada, which is, of course, one of our crucial swing states, the smallest of the swing states with 6 electoral college votes, as well as Utah. And Mark, Montana isn't a swing state, but of course there is a crucial Senate race taking place there.
Yeah, John Tester is the incumbent Democrat senator, and he is fighting Tim Sheehy, the Republican. Sheehy's a former Navy SEAL, and Tester is a popular politician. He's a Democrat from a Republican state, but he's popular. So let's see which way that race goes. And of course, as we've been saying, we're focusing predominantly on the presidential race, but the makeup of the building that's just a few yards behind us there is all important, and it could really impact, if Kamala Harris was to win the presidency, but both houses of Congress were to become Republican, well, then she would have a very, very difficult 4 years to be able to implement anything. On the flip side, if both houses were to go Republican, Trump wins the presidency, it's a free run for him.
And if Montana is called, then it could be called quite soon because she, polls at him about 5 to 7 points up. Could call quite quickly. Tim Scott has already held on in Florida. That's the Republican. Republicans have already taken West Virginia. It looks like some networks are already calling Texas for Ted Cruz. So that could give Republicans control of the Senate within the next hour.
But that's important, as you say, and 15 seconds until those polls that Yelda was just talking about close.
So the polls have closed at 3 a.m. in the UK, 10 p.m. here. Just the last few states have closed, and as we said, polls closing in Nevada, Utah, and Montana just in the past few seconds. 3 more states, 16 electoral college votes up for grabs, and Nevada is the one that we're focused on. It's one of our swing states, and
I haven't really talked much about Nevada.
It's too early to call at this stage, and it's one of the fastest growing states in the nation, but it also has very high unemployment, and people have talked about the economy being top of the agenda for them as well. It's got 30% Hispanic population, and that will be crucial to see how that's trending and whether it's trending towards Donald Trump.
Well, it's interesting, the Latino vote there is quite interesting. There's a big hospitality industry, and Trump was working very hard. As Jerry was talking about earlier.
And we can see there Montana with 4 electoral college votes goes to projected winner is Donald Trump. And same for Utah, projected winner Donald Trump. But we are waiting for that crucial swing state of Nevada. And when we talk about the path to the White House, certainly for Kamala Harris, if she doesn't get Pennsylvania, the Rust Belt states that she needs, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Georgia, she will need, won't she, either North Carolina or Georgia, as well as Nevada.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, exactly. She needs two of those additional states. Pennsylvania is so important. 19 electoral votes. No other swing state has that many votes. Only two combined could make up for it. So yeah, I mean, as we said earlier, the window is narrowing. It's not by any means closed. As Mark said earlier, it does look like North Carolina is probably going to be called at some point. Has been called already by some news organizations for Trump. That would knock North Carolina off her board. Georgia still seems pretty close. So she still has a chance there, and we'll wait and see what happens in Nevada and Arizona, obviously. But yeah, I think her cleanest path to victory was always winning the three northern states, because that would just give her a bare majority. And I think it's still that remains the case.
Well, just in the last few minutes, we were told that Wisconsin and Pennsylvania are too close to call at this stage.
Yeah, we were just talking about the Senate race, and I think we can see a little bit about what's going on. But what are your thoughts on that? I mean, there are these key races: Montana, Ohio, in Nevada. Actually, yeah, there's a reasonably close one. Pennsylvania. Yeah. What are your thoughts about that? I mean, it looks almost certain the Republicans will take control of the Senate. The question is, how big will the majority be? And that's important because it looks like they've already won West Virginia. So remember that currently the Democrats have a 51-49 majority here. So Republicans have gained one seat, so that's now 50-50. They win Montana, which looks extremely likely. They'll have a 51-49 margin. Then the other ones that are outstanding: Pennsylvania, Ohio, Nevada, Wisconsin, Michigan to 5 there. The polls weren't looking good for the Republicans in any of those states, to be honest. So if it's 51-49, which is increasingly what it looks like it might be, that's a majority. It gives them control of the upper chamber, but it's not a really solid working majority, because there will be at least 2 or 3 Republicans who will be inclined to be independent, won't go along with everything that Donald Trump wants. May not even. One of the things the Senate does, of course, is confirms things like Supreme Court nominees. It confirms cabinet appointments. And you really want to have a majority there of a couple, 2 or 3, because there are a couple of sort of pretty moderate, kind of ornery Republican senators who aren't necessarily going to go along, as I say, with what Trump wants. So it actually, although they'll get a majority in the Senate, almost certainly, it may not be the kind of control of the Senate that would guarantee, pushing through the Trump agenda if he wins.
Let me just give you an update that I've had from a source close to Donald Trump within the Trump campaign. It appears that they are happy with the data that they are seeing from across the country so far. Cautiously optimistic is a phrase that was used. Let's see if that cautious optimism turns to genuine optimism over the course of the next few hours. But the data points coming back suggest to the Trump campaign that they're having a good night.
Let's go to West Palm Beach now in Florida and speak with Angie Wong, Republican District Councilwoman in Miami. Thank you very much, Angie, for joining us here on the program. Just tell us how you think this night is evolving. We've just heard our correspondent Mark Stone say that within the Donald Trump camp, they are cautiously optimistic by the data that they are seeing.
No, absolutely. It is party season here in West Palm Beach. I'm here at the Trump watch party, and we're now starting to see everyone from the Trump team enter the party. I think there's people are having lots of smiles on their faces for sure, entering the convention center here in West Palm Beach. We are expecting a win, and we're expecting a clean win coming up. Everyone is just very festive. The numbers are coming in. Everyone is cheering in the convention center. We're having a great time. It looks like we're picking up Senate seats as well as congressional seats. So one by one, state by state, we're getting really excited. We're expecting Donald Trump to come speak later, maybe around midnight after he wins. And so, everyone's talking trifecta here in West Palm Beach. We're expecting the White House, the Senate, and Congress. So it's going to be a big night, and certainly red wave, county by county. My county in Miami County just flipped red for the first time in 30 years. So it went from blue to red in just election.
So you're saying, are you, that Donald Trump will be claiming victory in 2 hours' time?
Well, it looks that way. It looks like people are very, very excited if the numbers are all in. And of course, everyone's looking at Georgia, everyone's looking at Pennsylvania and Nevada. Those are going to be the ones that bring him over the top.
Yeah, but I mean, if the Democrats win Pennsylvania and Wisconsin and Michigan, then that's not going to go the way that you're saying.
I know it's very, very close, but we're very, very optimistic. Again, I think there's been a lot of good campaigning that happened this round. We saw President Trump just yesterday take 4 rallies. I think that's going to bump him up by the 2 or 3 digits that he needs in order to get him over the state, especially in Pennsylvania. There's a lot of honking around me, a lot of cheering. I think another state might have just been called. So I think things are looking very, very positive here.
Let's talk about Florida because, of course, Donald Trump comfortably won Florida, but a real slap in the face of those who had been campaigning for reproductive rights. We saw that Florida abortion amendment to add the right to abortion to the Constitution has been rejected in Florida.
Yes, and we've been pushing for that measure. Look, the reason why we're pushing for that measure as Republicans is because it really does remove the parental rights if a child gets impregnated. And also, we just want to have some kind of stop measures in case that there are things. But clearly, if the mother's life is endangered, we don't want to have any sort of circumstance like that. But, ultimately, we do not want to give up parental rights. We want to know as parents if our child is having an abortion. And that is what that amendment is trying to get rid of. It's trying to basically put our children's health in the state's hands, and we don't want that at all.
Okay, Angie, we'll leave it there. Thank you very much for joining us. And as we can see, it's abortion rights on the ballot in some of these states, and in New York we saw it go one way, and in Florida the opposite.
But if that is the way the Republicans are thinking about declaring victory in 2 hours' time, I mean, look, who knows? Donald Trump may just do that. He may just come out and say it's done, but it clearly isn't done. No, he was always going to do that, I think, anyway. But I do think the way the results are trending right now, looking at some of the votes coming in crucial counties in states like Wisconsin and Pennsylvania, that is, it's getting more and more likely that Trump will be able to declare victory, and it won't just be a sort of premature brag at midnight or whatever. It may well be that we're quite close to them actually winning. Because you think he will win one or other in Wisconsin or Michigan? I mean, the numbers again, we're not there yet, not even there. The numbers could turn around, but it goes back to what we talked right at the start. The Bar Mobile rated excellent on Trustpilot with over 30,000 5-star reviews. The Bar.
All right, there we go, guys. I got audio. Sorry about that.
Si tú miras ahora online y miras Washington County, es donde se queda la Universidad de Michigan. A primera mirada,
Stream brand new blockbuster drama this autumn, only on Paramount Plus.
Ran here in 2020. You see what Harris is getting right now, but what will still be coming out later tonight in Pima will be that same day vote. So we'll see how that affects the count. And again, in Arizona, if we get through tonight and this thing is still very, very close, you're kind of locked in probably for a few days of results just because of that pace. Where once a night you'll kind of get updates from these counties. So the question here obviously is if somebody gets a clear advantage, this is the statewide number right now, half the vote has been counted out. We'll see in the coming hours if there's clear separation between these candidates at all. Otherwise, it could take some time there in Arizona. I want to return to Pennsylvania because I think we've got a pretty big development here in part of the story we've been following all night. We have been flagging Lackawanna County, big one where Scranton is, heart of Northeast Pennsylvania, a very contested region here politically. And the question has been, what would this land at? And you're now basically looking at it. This is probably it in Lackawanna County. Kamala Harris is going to see what Scranton is. Kamala Harris is winning this by 3 points over Donald Trump. But remember, we were using this as a gauge because in 2020, Joe Biden won this by 8.5 points, won the state. In 2016, Donald Trump lost this only by about 3.5 points, 3.4 points. This was a winning combination for Donald Trump. He won the state. This was a losing combination for Donald Trump. Tonight, at 3.1 points, his loss here in Lackawanna County is actually a little bit less than the 2016 margin. This was one of our key questions in Pennsylvania tonight. Would Donald Trump get back to his 2016 level in a big blue-collar county like this? Because there are a lot of big blue-collar counties like this throughout the contested northern tier of the battleground. This I'm flagging for you because we said it at the start of the night. We've used this as a bellwether also because this is now the complete one. We've been looking for complete counties. We've got a complete county here. So that's where it lands at right there. That was the question we asked. We now have an answer. Luzerne County, another biggie. Again, this is all big blue-collar counties, northeast Pennsylvania, slowly getting that same day, that election day vote counted up. Trump's lead now is 11 points. This is where Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania is. He needs to hit this number and probably surpass it. So keep an eye as this remaining vote comes in. But like Lackawanna, that's what we're looking at. One other thing to note here. Now, look, half the vote is in Philadelphia County is the same thing as Philadelphia City. They're the exact same thing. So that's what you're looking at here. We got half the vote in. And you see, Harris is going to win this thing in an absolute landslide. The question in Philadelphia has been the margin. Because what we saw in 2020 was ever so slightly, even as Democrats won the state. Oh, no, land properly, your proper, lovely. Oh, yes, that's it. Side. Lost a little bit of ground in Philadelphia was Donald Trump performed a little bit better in some heavily Hispanic parts of the city. So the question, another key question is that the Democrats would win that back. They win back the ground. They lost, they lose further ground. Now, you can see Biden won Philadelphia 81 to 18 essentially in 2020, and right now it's 79 to 20. Is this as they count up? I keep saying the same day vote. I'm saying that because that's the same day vote is favoring the Republicans at this. So when I say they're tallying up the same day, there's an expectation there that it's the best numbers for Trump that are still being tabulated right now. The twist in Philadelphia, though, is they still have tens of thousands of vote-by-mail ballots. We expected about midnight that they're going to release that second batch of vote-by-mail ballots. So as we get closer there, we're going to follow this and see if Trump can maintain this 20%, maybe even he grows it. That would be fantastic news for him if he does that. But at about midnight, a very big batch of where the very Democratic friendly votes are going to come in. So that may answer or really get us close to an answer on this other key question we're asking in Pennsylvania. Are the Democrats able to hold what they have in Philadelphia and maybe even win back the lost ground from 2020, or does Trump make further inroads? Because again, this is a county where the Democrats won by about 470,000 votes in 2020. They want to hit that margin. They want to go higher on that margin tonight. So that's the drama in Philadelphia as this other half of the vote comes in. And we could just zoom right out and see. I'm going to zoom out and show you the running statewide total. And I clicked Ohio for some reason. There you go. A little bit more than half statewide. That is Trump's lead statewide, but it's very spotty in terms of where you're seeing. Oh, there's one more I didn't want to flag for you. This is Cumberland County. So you do have about 3/4 of the vote in here. Why Cumberland County? Because we don't talk much about it, but there's a lot of population in this region of Pennsylvania. You got Lancaster County, you got York County, you got Cumberland County, Carlisle, Pennsylvania is in here. This is actually, you see red right now, this has been a growth area for Democrats. There's a lot of fast growing suburbs in here, again, demographically very conducive to the Democratic coalition, right outside, right across the river from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. So Democrats made gains here in 2020. This was actually a very good performance for Joe Biden. And you see with almost 3/4 of the vote in, Trump's a little bit short of that number. That's a bad number for him, and he's a little bit short of it now. But this is the thing to look for. With all of this remaining election day vote still to be counted, is that we just saw this happen in Lackawanna County. Is that going to happen in Cumberland County? Is Trump going to gain enough that he hits that number and surpasses that 2020 number? This is the kind of place where his campaign needs to win that ground that they lost in 2020. This is a big part of why, or a significant part of why Trump lost Pennsylvania in 2020. So we're going to follow that as it continues to come in. And I can also note Butler County. This is red. Obviously, it was heavily in the news this summer with that Trump rally. And believe it or not, Butler County in the Trump era, it started in 2016, while it's still deeply red, has actually gotten less red. This has been a bit of a growth area, suburbs right outside Pittsburgh, rural areas too. The Democrats actually, I just show you, put it up on the screen here. This was actually a bit disappointing for Trump in 2020. You just go back here and take a look. He won it by 37 points in 2016, only 32 in 2020. This is a place where Democrats would like to make more gains. Right now, it's basically exactly where it landed in 2020. Again, it's not a ton, but there's more of that same day vote to come. This is, again, the kind of place where the Trump campaign's goal coming in tonight would be to stop those losses that they were suffering, to stop that decline, and maybe gain some ground back. So, with most, not all the vote in Butler County, it doesn't look like they're going to fall back any farther. Just checking in too on Allegheny County. There's more than 1 million people in Allegheny County. Think of the city of Pittsburgh. There's also just a ton of interior suburbs there, inner suburbs there. 3/4 of the vote in Allegheny. Show you where this landed in 2020. And again, this is one of the few counties in Pennsylvania that's gotten more Democratic in the Trump era. But, it's huge, as we just said. So 60% is basically where Biden landed in Allegheny County in 2020, with about 3/4 of the vote in. If you remember at the start of the night, we had all of that mail that was dropped in Allegheny County. Trump's been trying to chip away at that sense. Let's see with this remaining 25% of the vote, if he can get back to that 2020 level here. Democrats really want to grow this. The other question we're going to try to get an answer on here too, if there is remaining vote by mail in Allegheny County. That's the wild card in Philadelphia now. Let's check on that in Allegheny County and Pittsburgh. But these are places, where Democrats just depend on big margins, and where Harris is going to need even bigger margins here by a few points to offset potentially, for instance, what Trump just did in Allegheny County. It's Lackawanna County.
News can project that former President Trump will win Texas. That locks 40 more electoral votes into his column. Former president also has a lead in Iowa. There's no call at the top of the hour here. Remember that Iowa poll had people scrambling there at the Des Moines Register saying it was Harris lead by 3.
Yeah, the same day Emerson had him up by 10, but that got a lot of people's attention because Ann Seltzer is such a well-known and usually correct pollster. So we'll see how Iowa plays out tonight. In Nebraska, the Fox News decision desk can project that Trump will win the statewide vote. Nebraska gives 2 electoral votes to the winner of the state and 1 vote to the presidential winner in each of their districts. So Trump will also win Nebraska's 2nd and 3rd districts. The more suburban 2nd district, Omaha, which is the blue dot that we have talked so much about, that is too early to call that he has a lead there.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.
Fox News decision desk can now project that Texas Senator Ted Cruz will have a 3rd term, and he has defeated Democratic Congressman, former NFL player Colin Allred. There was some movement in this race. It tightened a little bit, and there was some discussion that maybe Ted Cruz might lose his seat, but he has handily.
You know how much money they put into that race? Democrats poured a ton of money into that race. Colin Allred was a good candidate.
Absolutely, good debater.
Minus being in Texas, I mean, he was really a really good Democratic candidate. As you look at the balance of power, 47 to 37. Again, West Virginia has already flipped, majority at 51. You're looking at states like Ohio, the Sherrod Brown race, Montana, the John Tester race, as a possible flip in the U.S. Senate. Brooke Taylor is at the Cruz campaign headquarters in Houston. Check in with Brooke. Good evening.
Good evening. I could tell you some behind the scenes info right now. We have Fox News playing on both screens right now. The crowd right now goes wild because we just threw up the race and we have Cruz again with that strong lead. So everyone here is very excited, but I could tell you from talking to the Cruz campaign that they have been taking this race extremely seriously. When you think of Texas, you think of this deep red state. A Democrat has not won an election here in 30 years, so since 1994. But again, since 2018, Democrats have really seen an opportunity to possibly switch the seat. We saw in Beto O'Rourke, Cruz won by just 3 points, and Cruz's campaign hoping to have a real win here. They are not going to make that mistake. They are going to take this extremely seriously. But again, the crowd here going wild. They are very excited about this. I will toss it back to you guys.
Okay, Brooke Taylor, thanks so much.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.
The Fox News decision desk can project that Vice President Harris will win New York, giving the Vice President 28 more electoral votes. She also has a lead in Minnesota. Too early to call the state of Minnesota, which closed in recent days, according to the poll.
Obviously, the vice presidential candidate, Tim Walz, from Minnesota, and now Fox News can project a Harris victory in Colorado as well. She gets 10 more electoral college votes there. New Mexico, too early to call, but Harris has a lead according to our Fox News voter analysis in New Mexico.
I'm Steve Pearson.
I'm Brian Kilby.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.
Welcome back. We do have a call to make. The Fox News decision desk can now project that former President Trump will win the state of South Carolina. So we are counting down the minutes to the next poll closing, and there you see the race to 270 ticking up on the former president's side at 32, 3 for Vice President Harris as the states are called. We will continue to see that, and obviously 270 is the magic number.
Yeah, long way to go. A lot of filling in of this board and these states, but some places are getting very interesting as we get closer to our next round of poll closings, which are coming up in just a little while.
It is now 7:30 on the East Coast. Polls have just closed in 3 more states. North Carolina is the next state to watch, just like Georgia. It came down to the wire in the last presidential election. It has 16 electoral college votes, and it will be a decisive one, potentially. The Fox News decision desk says it's too early to call.
Also, too early to call Ohio, but former President Trump has a lead in our Fox News voter analysis. As we mentioned, we're also watching the Senate race there. Bernie Moreno is the GOP candidate running against Sherrod Brown, and we can say that Fox News does project that Trump will win West Virginia. Not a very big surprise there. Obviously, the former governor or the current governor is running for the Senate as well. So
We'll
we'll
expect that to be a quick call as well. If you look at the race for 270, the electoral college votes needed to win the presidency now ticking up with that last call, the former president at 23 and Vice President Harris at 3 throughout the night. That will go up as we make calls. The biggest story in West Virginia, as we said, is the Senate race, where longtime Senator Joe Manchin is retiring. Democrat now independent. Fox News can project that Jim Justice will flip this seat to the Republicans. That win puts the GOP one seat away from an outright majority in the U.S. Senate, assuming they don't lose any seats along the way that they already hold.
Yes, exactly. So the Fox News decision desk says that it is too early to call another Republican target. Ohio, where the incumbent Democratic Senator Sherrod Brown, as I mentioned, fighting for his 4th term against Republican businessman Bernie Moreno. And we're watching that one very closely as well. That could potentially be another flip at the toss-up race at the moment. The balance of power looks like this in terms of what we have fed in so far into the data at this point. We've got 40 Republicans, 1 seat flip. That's the West Virginia seat. Jim Justice will be the new senator. He was the former governor from the state of West Virginia, and Democrats have 29 right now. You can see a lot of spaces still to be filled in over on the Senate side.
We're following a number of gubernatorial races around the country. Turning to those races, Fox News can project that North Carolina's Democratic Attorney General Josh Stein will defeat Republican Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson. A lot of controversy in that race. It's not close now. We're making that call.
And in West Virginia, Republican Attorney General Patrick Morrisey will succeed Jim Justice as the state's 37th governor. He has wanted that spot for a long time. He's run before, and now Patrick Morrisey will be the governor. Tell us, love it.
So we've been speaking all night about preliminary results, and we can toss that out now when we're talking about states like this. Georgia has 88% of the votes tallied. Trump with 51.3%, Harris with 48.1%. I'm going to zoom out again because we've been saying all night Trump's easiest path to victory: Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Georgia. Still a lot of votes to be counted. Pennsylvania, but for now we're seeing
that Trump has slight margin, especially in Georgia here. We're starting to see some of these counties really fill in. Not surprisingly, seeing this kind of blue blob in the Atlanta metro, but then we see all of these bright red and dark red rural counties that are pretty much balancing out, if not overcoming, some of what we're seeing in some of these larger cities, specifically the Atlanta metro. Let's zoom back out just to make sure that we hit every battleground state that we can. Arizona is the other one. 50% of the votes in here. So half the vote tally, most of this coming from Maricopa County. Maricopa County is most of the ballgame in the Grand Canyon state. Right now, we've got a dead tie, 49.6 to 49.6. Interesting, to say the least, as this map gets filled out. Let's ask AG about it.
So, AG, thanks so much for being with us, AG with the New York Post, of course. What can we glean from some of these battleground states here? Is it accurate to say that some are too close to call? Not Georgia.
But I think Georgia's trending for Trump. But the thing I'm noticing is that blue wall is looking like it's going to crack. I mean, what's happening in Michigan, what's happening in Wisconsin, Pennsylvania. It comes down to great returns from these like bigger cities. But really, it's looking more like 2016, 2020. And that's kind of remarkable for people who thought that Harris had a pathway that was more like Biden's in 2020. It's looking much more like Trump's got the 2016 coalition. Men are coming out to vote for him, and this is really a remarkable political comeback in the making by Donald Trump, because a lot of people looked at this few weeks back and said there's no way you can make it through the wall. And there was a lot of thought that St. Joe's time would be a bigger factor in places like Michigan. He hasn't been as of yet. So this is just Trump versus Harris, like R versus B. But Trump is really he's really driving it right now.
So, AG, I've got Pennsylvania right now. 51% of the vote so far is going for Trump. He has roughly a 3-point lead over Harris. 57% of the vote has been counted. Let's talk about what is considered the most pivotal battleground state here. There is still 43% of the vote to be tallied. What are we going to be watching for as we get that 43% of the vote?
Philadelphia County. That is, what is it, 55 electoral votes between the four? That's a lot of suspense. So, expecting a winner before you go to bed tonight, I think it's a little bit unrealistic. But the trend right now is Donald Trump. It's looking good for him. But, you have to consider that the late votes, that the late counted vote, the mail vote, things like that, that is going to trend Democratic. So any margin that Trump has at 10:41 Eastern time may not hold. We'll wake up in it.
Let's talk about Detroit. I want to talk about Michigan. We talk so much about some of these southern states, and we've been talking about Pennsylvania. Let's talk about Michigan. And I'm going to just kind of zoom in on Detroit here, because that's one of the largest Arab American populations in the country. Focus in and go in on what is correct here. We're focusing in on the area where Detroit is. Wayne County is what we're talking about here. Right now, Wayne County is showing that Trump is up 61%, 37.5%. We're talking about Trump having a commanding victory so far with 24% of the vote. 24% may not sound like a lot.
It really comes down to the precincts that are coming in, because a county in and of itself isn't necessarily. There are precincts in counties that'll tell you what the real story is that's happening. And when you're watching that precinct data being dumped in, that could be margins as thin as they are in Michigan. You get 5,000, 10,000, 15,000 votes dumped in, plus 80. That makes for a remarkable difference in here.
So we do have some race calls. We do want to get to right now here on the presidential level. Let's go to Kansas right now, AJ in Austin. So you see there Trump getting Kansas's 6 electoral votes. The Associated Press calling Kansas for former President Donald Trump here. Let's stay in the Midwest. We also have a race called there in the Hawkeye state of Iowa. Iowa's 6 electoral votes going to Donald Trump there over Harris with 56 votes counted now. This is really interesting because we got to dive into some of the numbers there in Iowa because there was this poll that was put out over the weekend by Ann Seltzer. She's considered the gold standard there of polling in Iowa, in Austin. She had Harris winning Iowa by 3 in her poll. She even considered her poll an outlier, but obviously we're not seeing that here. Trump getting the state. And it's a pretty sizable margin so far, more than half of votes.
Yeah, I mean, Trump campaign said that some people look at the Emerson poll, which is more of a 10-point poll. The Seltzer poll, the methodology seems really weird to me. And this idea, there's this groundswell of women in this very conservative state that elected Kim Reynolds governor and all of that, as we over to Harris. It didn't make a lot of sense. But when you look at polls, we know this. It's like it comes down to your sample size. It comes down to your random picks. Got 600, 800,000 people. Not all those people are created equal. So it looks like a real sampling error from Seltzer. Back to the drawing board moment. But the presidential race is really wild polls. And this just happened to be one of them. And to raise questions about Iowa, but I don't think those questions were legitimate. Obviously, voters did what we expected to do for this election, leaving aside that Seltzer poll.
So, AG, as I zoom in on the map here, we're starting to see that almost every single battleground, in fact, every single battleground that has results, save for Nevada, which we do not have results in for yet, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona. None of them have been called in Trump's favor yet. All of them so far are light red. They are leaning red right now as Trump is ahead in these races. What does that mean? We saw so many discussions out there saying that this race would be as close as it possibly could be. Is this something that's fascinating you as we're seeing this night progress? I mean, Georgia, North Carolina, we have over 80% of the vote tallied. Over 60% of the vote has been tallied in Pennsylvania. Michigan has just about a quarter of the votes tallied, and over 50% of the votes tallied in Wisconsin, as well as half the votes tallied in Arizona. Out of those 6 battlegrounds, what's standing out to you?
I mean, it really is the trend. And you have to ask yourself right now if you would rather be Trump or Harris. Trump basically, his strategy of going all over the place, campaigning everywhere, taking all kinds of questions from adversarial media, it seems to have paid off. And I think voters are responding to the authenticity, the viscerality of the Trump campaign, to the approach. The central question: are you better off 4 years ago? Trump weaved that question in over and over again in his closing arguments. Many voters in these states, Michigan, Wisconsin, and so on, looked at their pocketbooks, and bank balances, and credit cards. They said, "No, we're not." And I think Harris not doing press conferences and kind of doing these parachuting in these scripted rallies. I don't think that helped them. I think voters really wanted a connection, especially after the 2020 election where Biden basically, Harris did a version of that. And voters seem to be rewarding Donald Trump.
To contests in some of these Western battlegrounds as well here. We're getting results in on the Arizona Senate race. Let's take this with Gallego up overlay right now with 49% of estimated votes counted. If we can also bring up the Montana Senate race too between Sheehy and Hester, so we can get a of where that race stands at the moment. Let's take that. There you see Sheehy up 56 over Hester's 42 there, about 5% of estimated votes counted. So Montana still has a got a long way to go there. But these are the Senate races to watch still now that we're moving our way westward across the country, though. Some of the other races, Wisconsin, Ohio, those Senate seats, they're still nice. They haven't been called yet, at least on the existing press.
And, Republicans need to flip a couple of these and go back to 2022. 24 would be their year for the Senate. And still have opportunities. And I think as Trump rises or falls, the Senate can look at the state poll and out in various swing states and in Senate races. The candidates run a couple points behind Trump. So if Trump can win these states, that's very good for Dave McCormick, for Eric Humphrey, for somebody like that. I think you look at Montana, I think Trump's strength is going to lift on seeking that race. I don't think Kerry Lake has a shot per se. Oldest all Arizona have a lost place between Trump and Gallego. But, overall, the Republicans can pick up a couple of these Democratic seats. A very good night. They probably will take the House also. By Republican Washington, D.C. next year. And Donald Trump would be able to act along his policy agenda that he supported, from doing during his first term. If he's elected.
We can come back onto my screen here. The balance of power is from anything here. This is giving us a look at how this thing is shaping out. So right now, and obviously you need 50 seats in order to have control of the Senate if the president is Donald Trump, because that would mean that JD Vance tiebreaker. That would give Republicans control. That would mean they would only need 50. Now, if they want control, regardless of who wins the presidency, they would need 51. Let's tease this out, AG. There are quite a few competitive Senate races around the country. Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, as you mentioned. Not as competitive in Arizona as it once was. Montana, we are seeing John Tester have this uphill battle. Is there really any path to the Democrats being any control in the upper chamber?
Not the way this map is going. It's going to be very difficult, and I think you would need for the Senate candidates to really outperform the rest of state after state. My guess right now is 52 Republican seats. That's really what you want if you're the Republicans, because it's very hard to maintain a unified caucus in House Wars. So you want that margin to be a couple points higher than just a 50-50 with passing with a high-breaking votes. So really early to tell the Senate races. I'm less confident in those than I am Trump right now. But I really do think Trump is the rising tide.
Steve with the Air Force. We are nearing the top of the hour. Also, Westfall here in the lineup is with me. But in the meantime, though, speaking of some of these, I want to put up some of the results. Let's go back to right now. Take a look at this. Democratic incumbent Tim Kaine there, leading over Republican challenger Hunter Howe. You see there. We also have 5 right now to his rally group of supporters. 5 in progress. So it's going to be a long night. We're going to have, however, all these outside. We have a lot of work to do to promote more peace. A lot of work to do to create this economy that is not just for a few, but for the many. Healthcare options we protect. Fight gun violence. Battle for a cleaner environment. We've shown in Virginia arms walk side by side. Walk side by side. Progress. So thank you so much for putting may or may not over the course of the next 6 years. This or that. But I won't embarrass you. I won't let you down. I won't cause you to lose a moment's
All right, we're following it all through live now. Of Anchor on ADX now. Election record all the latest. All right, let's continue on. We're finally break. We have more polls in here at the top of the hour. It's supposed to be Pacific time. All right, welcome back to Olara now. We're back here on this election. I thank you so much for joining us tonight. People tuning in across all of our free platforms, so we appreciate you joining us as we're hosting the top of the hour. 8 o'clock on the West Coast is very, very closely right now. Let's continue on. I do want to put up this right now. Howard University, Kamala Harris, going to the lines there. Still very high as well, despite what we're seeing in the polls right now. Also, Palm Beach, Florida, live look there with all the other plenty of people excited for this as we're have polls in California, Oregon, and Washington. And let's continue on. Let's bring in again my colleague here, Austin Westfall, to discuss the latest of what we're seeing from this on the West Coast. Austin, thank you so much for joining us. So what are you looking at now, and what do you expect your polls close in just a matter of minutes on the West Coast? And props to our colleague Andrew Kraft for a 5-hour-long marathon, managing controls there. Let's get into the maps. So here's what we're talking about. We're going to be watching some of these West Coast states. At this point, polls are going to be closing, and the polls are going to be closing in states like California, Oregon, and Washington at the top of the hour. We do, of course, unless something completely surprising happens, we do expect that those 3 states will fall into the category. Now, what's going to be interesting, though, about these states is in the House. We're haven't really been checking in on the balance of power in the House so far. The match number is 218. Right now, Republicans have secured 152 of those seats, Democrats 98. Why am I talking about this on the West Coast? That's because there are tons of toss-up races all along this coast. So many of them in California. There's one specifically southwestern Washington. That's going to be particularly close to one. Bend, Oregon has a close toss-up race. California's Central Valley, parts of Southern California, there's 5 House seats in California alone, currently owned by the GOP, but they're considered to be complete toss-up races. That's why it's been, as the weeks have developed, been much tougher for pundits to forecast who may control the House. There are so many tight races,
about the Sandy Mac is that not only are these super tight, but they're as tight as they have been in years past. So close that it could take days, not over a week, at the House. A lot to get to with that. Let's talk about the Senate seat in California for a second. That was potentially closed without a ship. The Democrats are going up against Republicans. Probably, what do we make of this? What is the kind of the outlook on this? How does it affect the balance of power factor in all of this in California? So ultimately, as far as the question of balance of power goes, we don't expect California to make any seismic shifts of the balance of power. We don't consider this race to be a toss-up like we do in Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, states of that nature. California is an interesting one, as you can see. That might be a familiar name to some people. Steve Garvey was the first baseman, Dodgers, Padres, mostly the 70s and 80s. He is running as a Republican against Adam Schiff. Adam Schiff led the charge on the impeachment process during Trump's first. As soon as polls close, we may get an early call in this race. Of course, any state like California would be expected to fall blue, but no results from the Associated Press as of right now. It looks like the clock just hit 8 p.m. on the West Coast. So polls closing, we should start to see some color in some of these states here. The colors will start lighting up. I mean, I was mentioning 1 hour there as we continue to follow it on the West Coast. And I'll mention it. This happened right now. Just as we were speaking. So Washington, there we go. So we've seen some of these Senate races. Washington is just how reliably blue. I'm gonna just guess. Yes. There's zeros on these things. Probably zeros on California as well. That's because they have such confidence in these states. As soon as results start coming in, so overwhelmingly blue, that they feel comfortable calling these races as soon as the results start coming through. So, Adam Schiff, going to be the senator in California for 6 years. Here's there, and Washington as well. So no numbers there as well, but still, Maria Antler will be starting off her 6 years. They're very interesting. West Coast will follow it very closely. Also, we're going to check that for the course of the season that we have over the last several hours. Well, we appreciate the time. Let's get out to more different conversations here as we're hearing now. West of the East. I do want to put up one of the most recent calls there in Idaho being called for the president Donald Trump as well. So I do want to put up this list, those 4 electoral votes going for Donald Trump in Idaho and 4 electoral votes. And the balance of power, we talked about all those electoral votes being passed up. So we're hearing different ones about Nebraska. You know about the split one there with that, but also in Maine, we're talking about. We're also getting more about Washington as well. So let's continue to follow the latest here. As you can see, just the excitement within the Squad Party there in West Palm Beach, in Florida, at this Squad Party. As they maybe see some of these results coming themselves from there as on the other side, Squad Party and our university, Kamala Harris, eventually getting vision out 12 electoral votes. Later going for the Vice President Kamala Harris on the West Coast. As you from the West Hall, those going blue very, very quickly. The blue for Washington, just seeing go blue for Oregon. Let's bring it off one more time here. We're going to get about this. What do we make from this evening? Yeah, just like the Senate, just like we were just talking about, as soon as the polls close, he feels confident enough to call these Western states in favor of Harris. California has the most electoral votes, 54 votes coming from California. Washington had 12 electoral votes. Oregon not being called yet. It's likely blue. Let's see what we're working with here. It looks like Harris is up by just over 21%. That's with 44% of the votes counted. It looks like the AP not feeling quite as confident as they are in Washington and California about Oregon, but nonetheless, Harris with a dominant lead. Oregon as well. So what does that say for the electoral count at large? Now that California's block of votes has been added, that jumps Harris up to 179. Trump at 214. That means Trump is 56 votes away claiming the presidency. Harris looks like she is roughly 91 votes away from the presidency. While we're at it, Andy, let's look at the battleground state. Let's just explain all the states that are very well Wisconsin. Now we're at 60% of the votes tabulated. Trump is going to have just over a 2% lead in Wisconsin, neighboring Michigan. Even was leaning blue on one year. Now it looks like it's leaning red. Trump is up by over 4%. That's with 28% of the votes. So that is saw it update a little bit. It looks like Trump might have gained a little bit of ground slightly there. 28, just over 1/4 of the votes counted in Michigan, Pennsylvania. 19 electoral votes at stake. This one was a tight one for quite some time. And now it looks like as more and more votes are tabulated, we're nearing quarters votes being tabulated. 70% of the votes in Pennsylvania have been tallied. And right now, former President Trump has just over a 3% lead over the vice president. That's a major state right there. That's a lead that Trump has with 30% of the vote left that Harris can make up. North Carolina, Hill State. Yeah, he has not called any battleground states yet. 87% of the vote has been tabulated in North Carolina. Trump has just under a 3% lead over the vice president. Bringing out to Georgia, where we're seeing 90% vote tallied. Trump, he's got a 3-point lead above the vice president. Let's head out west. Nevada, not reporting anything in, or Associated Press is telling us so far. Battleground, we haven't heard about it yet, but Arizona, still exactly the point it was last time I checked. Exactly 50% of the vote tallied right now. Trump with a 2/10 of a point lead. Very, very interesting. Good points down for a few hours to get everyone up to speed on those 7 key battleground are also really it's just a little bit. But I do want to give you that roundup of some of what we're looking at, some of those states along the West Coast, including in California, Washington, and Oregon. I do want to put these up for a full roundup of what we saw on the West Coast. This one, California being called for Kamala Harris in terms of this and that. 54 big electoral votes for her, the largest state in terms of that. Also, Washington as well, 12 electoral votes going to Kamala Harris, and then also in Oregon as well, going for Kamala Harris. I also want to talk now about California as voting about the Senate and two races. Diane Feinstein seems to be open the way Diane Feinstein as if we're going for Adam Schiff over Steve Garvey, the former Garvey, the former Padre, Adam Schiff moving Chambers from the House to the Senate as he takes over that much more about the balance of power and everything. But let's continue on. Let's find out what features we're expecting here from Adam Schiff after Steve Garvey. Now we're just based on that. Also, quickly after the polls close, and states will have much more here on live down front. Right, welcome back to your live now from Fox on election night, just past 11 o'clock on the East Coast. I do want to talk now about the Senate race in Ohio. No call as of yet, but women over from the Democrats, Brown, from 2,000 votes. A week for voting away. We do see speaking to the crowd of supporters in West Lake, Ohio, right here on live.
The President Trump and JD Vance in the White House, as we're pro-immigration, but not pro-invasion. We're going to make certain that people who come to this country are invited here like I was and my family on our terms. We're going to make this country a dominant nation. So that my kids not grow up in a country where we never rely on a foreign ever again. Right here in Ohio, coal, natural gas, it needs oil, it needs first day in January. We're going to make certain that we tell California the whole country what our mission statements are. We're going to make them first. Look, the other piece I want to talk about is what President Trump has brought to this country. America will be a leader in the world. Always be a leader. American leadership is for prosperous and more secure. But it needs a leader of peace and strength. The weakness of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris is protected. And I know that from whether it's in Jerusalem or anywhere else on earth or Taiwan, they're cheering this election because they know American strength will ensure peace around the world. And if you're a police officer in this country, just know you have a senator and me, the Republican Party, that will always have your back. And we got rid of Chuck Schumer tonight, but pretty soon we're going to get rid of another couple people. First among them, Randy Weingart. She started packing her bags. This will lead the country to choice for all Americans. I look at my children. I have less than 4 kids. And by the way, tonight, my wife an amazing round of applause, please. Brandon. Look, we need to make certain that we honor teachers, honor curriculum work at every.
Talking with Bill, trying to turn optimistically, although all that race in his favor is looking to be a margin that continues to grow for the radio over to Sherrod Brown, incumbent Democrat there in that state of Ohio. And this one will flip from blue to red, likely as soon as that's called. And that is what we're following right now as they move off the shot. But we do have another shot here on live now on the election night in Arizona, another key battleground state of what we're following here in Arizona. I want to throw up this post from Ruben Gallego, Democrat from Arizona, said down co-workers across Arizona and show up early, stay late, and keep our democracy running smoothly. Their dedication every single vote is a testament to our state strength. Out to this, and you speak to them supporters in Arizona.
I'm going to allocate today. Give it to me because when I went to college, I couldn't afford to buy a new suit. So he gave me one of his. When I got to college, I saw other kids were happy because They were just happy to be there, happy to be at Harvard. I was happy that I finally got that. In college, one of my events was being the bathrooms of double Harvard students, scrubbing the toilets with the kids I could see the next day. But I did it all proudly, because I believed that I worked hard and followed the rules, even before a kid was 16. That's America. I wanted to serve my country because I didn't give my family a chance to live in American dream, the greatest country in the world. So I enlisted in the United States Marine Corps. I know there's some out there. I had the honor of fighting alongside my brothers in Iraq. My sons on Olara. They called us what we knew at first, but unfortunately, actually, I was our company saw some of the hardest days of the war. Those were tough days, but the fight for my brothers was always worth it. It was this fight for Arizona. We had a mantra out there. Go everywhere and talk to everyone. And that's exactly what we did. We didn't take one food for granted. For many candidates, Latinos and Native American voters from Africa, they were part of our outreach from day one. We worked to earn every vote. And we spread on the Republican brothers and sisters. For 22 months, I traveled all around this state. I learned that we have so much in common. Just because you're Republican or independent, we all want the same thing: a better life for our kids, and to give our kids a better future. It's just that simple. And that's exactly why I'm here. I believe in the American dream. I want everyone else to have the same opportunity to make it better than I have. I'm here tonight because I believe women are here to make their own decisions about their own lives. I still too high. And I understand how hard it is to work just to bring money up to pay the bills. And they just need to save up little. I understand that you work. I put 40, 60, 80 hours together, time and life. But there are too many people watching this who don't understand that kind of hard work, who don't actually respect that, who don't understand what it means to actually struggle with everything. Don't believe that they can work. Good. Good thing this brings home the problem. One result is going to be we fought for Arizona. I still want to be all Arizona to support the Democratic Party. I want you to know that regardless of who you voted for today, I will stand up and fight for you. As hard as I fight now for my family, as hard as I fought for you before, I will be fighting for you in Washington. To my family, my mom, my sisters, my aunts, my cousin, and they're all here. They're a big Latino family. I will always have them back. Because you will have my back. Specifically, Michael, I love, going to the Marine Party. I will keep fighting. When I joined up in the Marine, the man I first saw was the man I went to the hardest days of war for country that forgot us. God and the injustice for everything else. I love you, brother. How is that for now? God volunteers as supporters to do
crowd of supporters, noting that it would likely not be called just tonight based on the political a very confident, optimistic person there, speaking at that rally there. Everyone from the number of votes, sizable party some 7.3 right now. Don't call as of tonight. He admitted that such, but a sizable lead for him this evening. But we do want to get you out to some of calls in terms of the race for the White House in some very key battleground states. This one in North Carolina going in favor of Trump as Trump takes the battleground state of North Carolina 50% to 48%, just over 100,000 votes. Trump maybe calling this almost 90% of the votes counted and tallied at this point. Another battleground state not called at this point in favor of 3% as well. And we want to update the Fox 5 team. Eric Perry saying breaking Donald Trump has incredible lead with a number of votes outstanding. That is quote Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger. Good news, and let's continue on this. My colleague right now off the West Hall to discuss what this means. Development Austin, North Carolina, Raffensperger saying how typical is this moment for Trump? Raffensperger saying that is very important. The AP has not officially called the race yet. Can't officially call it ourselves here. A live look at the Trump watch party where we've been watching. There's been a lot of smiling faces. Have been eye on both of these watch parties. Here's how the map is looking now. It's called this the first battleground state officially been called. That puts Donald Trump away from the presidency. Harris still at 179. Let's take a look. North Carolina, solidly red at this point. We've been saying all night, Trump's easiest path to victory is North Carolina, which he has done. Georgia, which 90% of the votes in, has almost a 3-point lead. So, North Carolina, Georgia, Pennsylvania. So, if he gets these three states and every other state all the way we expect it to, that means that former President Trump will become president again. The only time that's ever happened before was Grover Cleveland, 22nd and 24th president of the United States. So, North Carolina getting called. I'm watching Pennsylvania closely now. I'm watching Georgia closely now. And 9/10 of all the votes have been counted in Georgia. He's got almost 3 points up. Pennsylvania, just over 3/4 of the vote now tallied. Trump has, and right now we're looking at just about a 3-point lead out of PA as well. So Trump has leads to absolutely crucial states. And I'm not even mentioning the fact that he has leads right now in Wisconsin, 66% of the votes in. Right now, Trump has about a 3-point advantage there. Michigan, fewer of those votes counted, about a third of them are in so far. But Donald Trump right now with a sizable lead over Kamala Harris. That one looking like it's just over a 6-point advantage. We go over to Arizona. It's very possible we don't hear any more results in from the rest of the night. They've been stuck at 50%. Nonetheless, that's at a dead tie right now. It's very possible, Andy, the way this is playing out, though, we might not be worried about Arizona. We're going to keep an eye specifically right now on Georgia and very good breakdown of all of the coming. Of course, North Carolina, Georgia, incompatible leads. Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan might be too close to call at this point, just based on the margin there. All right, so we're going to check back in with you. From the live now, look inside of some of these watch parties there in West Palm Beach, Florida. You can see excitement growing, building in that room. They're monitoring this in real time as we are as well. Also there in Washington, D.C., Kamala HQ, Public Justice, Howard University, Olara. We're monitoring it all very, very closely. Also, the race for the White House, other crops are coming up. We're going to have more on the down ballot race, some of those take place and what they mean across this country. You're lined up crops. All right, we're back in here to our election night coverage online now. I'm the host, Amy. Thank you so much for joining us. I do want to give you a couple of live now with very watch at the Kamala Harris Watch Party taking place on the campus of Howard University, also in West Palm Beach, Florida. Right in the eyes of some of these viewers, just approaching midnight on the East Coast. All right, we're also monitoring the latest inside some of these different polling locations, tabulation centers, including in Georgia, as the last week we were talking about. There's some incremental from right there. All right, we'll talk more about the race for the White House for other things on the table. Break it all down. What are the
Absolutely, Andy. So again, right now in the live now social show you what things are looking like from my vantage point. We're keeping up with some of those storylines that you may not see on the regular news. Some stuff that we're seeing on social media. And when it comes to social media, you have to talk about some of those conversations that pertain to abortion. Like, go ahead and take a look here. All the screen you can see all from the associated voters in Maryland have a ballot measure to enshrine protection for abortion in the state's constitution. Now, this is a big deal because Marylanders do vote to protect reproductive rights. Abortion is already legal there in the state, but by extremely difficult for lawmakers in the future to pass a law that could end reproductive care without violating the state's constitution. Now, we all know that when some of these younger abortion and other places, abortion has been issues that they have been following. I want to show you another one that we have here. Is a post on X from Fox 5 New York. New York also has Proposition 1 in designed to protect abortion rights and other civil liberties that will now be enshrined as well in the Constitution. It's all according to the Associated Press. Coming out. The final thing that I want to hit on now, when it pertains to abortion, voters in Colorado have also approved a constitutional amendment to try for abortion protection there in their state as well. So, as a for Colorado, necessary 55% of the vote to pass, and it is already a regional hub as well for abortion access in that part of the country. The next topic election experience. On social media, we've been seeing reactions to the storyline as folks are finding out if their state will try abortion protection in the Constitution, happening now, in 3 states, Maryland and Colorado. Continuing to track stories just like this on our social media. You follow us on Live Now. Fox is on all platforms, including TikTok, where you can updated with some of the other storylines that we're following and seeing here online.
You shine a light on some of the propositions but I really think about that there.
Absolutely, thanks, Andy.
But I would continue on with the wrap up with some of what we're in Colorado in favor against the right to abortion. So we're following it very, very closely. Significant portion, over a million voting in favor of that. Also in Georgia, proposal 1 talking about equal protection. Million people passed it on, from 63 to 37 in favor of that. Also, the right to abortion. Board is almost 2 million passing it out. A significant margin in part. So we're following the latest here on Live Out Fox in terms of all of this relates to the White House. Talk about another West Coast state called for Vice President Kamala Harris right here in Oregon, voting in favor of Florida. A blue West Coast, so not unusual, not surprising as well, but Harris was called there for Oregon. All right, let's continue on because we're talking about different tabulation things. Votes being tallied across the country. We're having a lot of outlooks inside of different locations. Harris County, Texas, we're bringing right now to the conversation for more. If you want to bring in lecture at the Center for Election Innovation here on Live Now for Fox on this election night. It feels like we're having a pretty smooth election night. What is your focus in around the country in terms of population, in terms of votes and talent?
I think we have a remarkably smooth election day and all the period up to it, with early voting going remarkably well. We haven't really seen any problems. Looking very carefully around the country for any potential issues. The only things we've seen is that we have voting places that we in County, Arizona. The person that's supposed to unlock the door for that in the morning. We had a few places around the country with technology glitches with the lines. Of course, we have had some school events, bomb threats that the FBI has identified as coming from foreign actors or from Russia that disrupted voting in Georgia, the polling place delays, and were similar threats. We social media interrupt voting, and as we get into the most high profile event, where they had to start over with counting, was clearly a mistake. In my opinion, they handled it exactly right. They talked to the Republicans, and they decided to start over so that getting to it.
So right now, as we look at the electoral map, we're focusing on 2 states that haven't been called on the East Coast right now. Specifically Georgia, which has, I should say, 91% of the votes tabulated right now. Trump with just under 3% in that state. Still 9% of the votes to be tallied. But really what I'm asking about is Pennsylvania. Still got 23% of the votes to be counted in Pennsylvania. Donald Trump's lead appears to be recent. How are votes tabulated? What's the rules? What's the procedures? And how quickly could they get their process done?
It is going to take them a while. So the key thing to know about Pennsylvania is they're one of the few states that are not allowed to be facing ballots until this morning, until election day. So they get the ballots, they can't check ballot, they can't figure out their rules, getting the counting process. Now all of that checking is the ballot is the longest part, we want to be careful about. And so that's why it's going to
talking about it earlier on. I do want to ask you, Dr. Spencer, come down to that saying, how important is that to make sure that people are aware of what's going on?
Election officials spend a lot of time preparing for this, talking about thousands of people, tens of thousands of people running elections. They don't do this. Mistakes are going to happen, but they found that mistake and they totally transparent about it. Look, you can't undo a mistake. Mistakes happen in life. We all know that. So that transparency to stop, go back to the beginning, check all the machines, seal everything up, and start over again so that questions count those ballots. That's the thing to do.
So, Chris, I got to ask you, this is become a staple somewhat as we've been tracking this election and how the votes are tabulated. What do you want people to know about misinformation? What do you want people to know about some of the common misconceptions people have about how these votes are counted?
So the first thing to remember is that the reason it's taking a while is that elections are close, right? States that are not close for presidency or other races that are not close, you all can call that, decision desks can call that very quickly. We can know who's going to win. But it's going to be close, it's going to wait longer. But the ballots are actually being counted faster than ever before using technology to do accurately. After election day, so we keep talking about these results, but these are unofficial, political, intentional, they will be audited, they will be checked in every state. They go through a rigorous process before those official results are certified so that we can trust that those final results are really the results that are out there. In terms of misinformation, what I would say is somebody's telling you something so that you want to be a little skeptical.
That's a good advice for people who are reporting. My question is a little bit of a feedback of what Austin just asked you, talking about this information. Or what do you look at over the next these states like Pennsylvania, common denominator for the White House will be counting for tonight, tomorrow, Pennsylvania. What are you looking at over the next several days?
The biggest thing that concerns me is actors out there, particularly foreign actors, maybe just trying to rile up anger on both sides and disrupt, how we operate as Americans and our trust in this electoral process, in the political process. And so, if something is out there and it's really getting fired up, that's the most important place to take a step back and ask yourself, is this person just trying to make me angry? Social media posts or wherever you're hearing this, just where something is trying to wind me up. And that's the most dangerous piece of misinformation over the next few days. This process, we knew what was going to happen. We knew months that this is going to play out for states. Wisconsin will take a little bit of time, not quite as long as Pennsylvania, probably maybe a few other states. But it will fall for those folks who are just trying to rally out.
In general, Chris, I gotta ask you, like the process around all of those mail-in ballots.
It's really quick for a number of reasons. One, we're not in the middle of the pandemic, so election workers won't have to social distance and all those other things that kind of plan. Election officials learn lessons from every election, so they have gotten better. Train up to do a little quicker, a little faster, all of those things. But yeah, the factor is that they're few ballots. They have those extra steps to process them, especially in places like Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, where they don't started being able to do that before election day.
All right, very good. Chris, thank you so much. I appreciate your time. I'm glad many people are that it is very smooth here on election day. I appreciate your time. This is all the latest. Thank you so much. I will continue on covering all the latest here on Live House Watch on this election day. We want to get to all the another one out of New Mexico. Speaker of the Vice President Kamala Harris is 46. The check mark next to her name is 9 electoral votes are going to her. And I also want to talk about Florida one more time. Harris getting that state as well, 8 electoral votes for her over President Donald Trump. All right, we're also wondering, like we talked about time and time again, about balance from House to the Senate, and we're doing have new live things like up now in Pennsylvania of this Casey with a very tight margin with a 2-point lead right now at this point. Not called it yet, but it is getting closer to the finish line. 80% of the votes have been counted at this point. 2.7 billion and 2.6 billion. All right, we'll follow all the latest here on this live now. We'll find a way for another. All right, we're this is live now. Fox here on this election night. I'm the host, Amy Ned. We appreciate you joining us as we approach midnight on the East Coast as you're getting closer and closer to that call for 1,000. You want to put up this list, another state going Vice President Kamala Harris, Virginia right now, calling this in favor of her 47% amounts on that side portion of the spring to 270. Needed to win 230 right now in favor of full president. Side is going to be a very, very close one of this. So we're following that very, very closely. I do want to give you another race call, a call that we've really always seen the speaker for this, the senator out of Texas, Ted Cruz, the AP, finally calling this one. It is a sizable margin right now at this point, 54% to 44%, to 5.25 million of votes. State voted. Seeing him speak to supporters on the ground in that state. So I wanted to give you an update on what we're seeing in terms of that state. But we're following all the latest here on this online Fox. Let's continue to bring in my colleague Austin Westfall because we did see that Cruz being called, but Virginia going to Harrison. We're expecting to hear from Dave Coleman potentially a little bit of that. Getting the breakdown of what we're seeing in terms of the electoral college. What are we looking at right now? So let's start off before we get to the electoral college. Let's start off with the Senate map because Texas going to Cruz, that is what matters in the grand scheme of things. As things sit right now, Republicans have 49 out of the 50 seats in order to get a split in the Senate. If they get 50-50, then that means that the vice president is a tiebreaker. Vice president, he would get the edge. Republicans in the Senate. Walz becomes the vice president. Democrats become the party of power in the Senate. But right now, there are so many of these blue seats that are competitive. One more. Republicans need one more seat to win. do have differences. So yes, presidency, what that's going to mean is that they are going to want more of that to confirm the fact that they've got consent. So let's look at all is now on the microphone. After Ted Cruz secured that victory, let's put this up one more time just to give you a sense of what's on. Ted Cruz taking it over him. Now the consensus keeps coming from calling on them. Let's listen to him and what he has to say.
Later, I was inspired to run partly because of what I saw on January 6th. What happened was lie about a free and fair election because they weren't happy with the results. I said it then, I'll say it now. You can't just be a patriot when your side wins. Tonight, we didn't win. We will continue to be patriots. Is that right? I want to thank every single Texan, every single American who got involved in this race, but especially the folks who knocked on doors, who made phone calls, gave whatever they could to this campaign. You know, I come from a family where we didn't have a lot of money. And so I know what it means when the price sets at $5 or $10. It's an act of hope. And I appreciate that. But I really especially want to thank all the incredibly brave Texas women who come forward and told their stories. That is Roski, Kate Cox, Lauren Miller, Dr. Austin Denard, Taylor Edwards. I could keep going. There are so many brave Texas women who told their stories. And Allie and I will never forget them. Never stop fighting to overturn this abortion ban here in Texas. Carry 3 little rocks with me. And my sons picked out on the ground. They represent my 2 kids, my wife Allie. My boys are little. They're 3 and 5. I haven't seen them as much as I'd like to. I miss someone who grew up not knowing their father. That's a big deal to me. So I want to say a special thank you to my family, to my mother and father-in-law who have done so much child care, to the folks who mean the most to me. I ran for my boys. I'm going to keep fighting for my boys' future and for every Texas kid's future. And I hope y'all will too. The quote from Churchill that's been kicking around in my head that I'll probably mess up. But said that courage is rightly esteemed as the first of human qualities. Because as has been said, the quality that guarantees all others. You have to have courage. It took courage, and I'm not tooting my own horn here, but it took courage for me to come from a single parent household that had a lot of money to the United States Congress. It took courage for these. It took courage for these Texas women to come forward and talk about the most difficult moment of their lives in front of thousands of people. It took courage for each and every one of you, and everyone who got involved in this campaign, even though we haven't won here in Texas in some time, to believe in this election, put everything you had into it. It's going to take courage for whatever comes tomorrow and the day after. This country is worth fighting for. Understand that. This state is worth fighting for. We are a great country. Nobody needs to make us great again. We are great because we are good. And we are good because that's who we are as a people. So I don't want to see anybody put their heads down. I want you to put your shoulders back, head up, walk out of here tall, and you participate in an American election. That's what we do. In this country, we don't settle our differences in the streets. We don't settle
settle it with violence. Settle it at the ballot box. If we don't win, we dust ourselves off and we come back the next time. Okay? I don't know what's going to happen in any of the other races around the country. But I know this. It's going to require patriots like all of you, all across our state and our country. Stay engaged. This 250-year project of ours is one that is very tenuous. Generation of Americans is responsible for keeping it going for another generation. We are not going to be the ones who drop the baton. Whatever happens in this election, I want you all to remember who we are. Don't ever lose sight of it. Don't ever let anybody tell you that it's not who we are. I want to thank you again. God bless you. God bless Texas. And may God continue to bless the greatest country in the history of the world, the United States of America. Thank you so much.
All that slightly perspective, but he said fight for the people of Texas. Battle, a very hard fought battle in this country. Of course, I just want to put this up again here on election night of what has come to the conclusion. By 10.84% counted, calling it in favor of him. I do want to take you out to another Senate race of Minnesota as the Olara incumbent there in that race, but next to remain quite nearly a billion votes. Minnesota as well. So we're following that very, very closely. We're also monitoring several different times, including Pennsylvania right now. Update coming out from there. Almost they have one nearly every hour. Also a lot of work. Westlake, Ohio, I believe, and Pennsylvania Bullish rally there. So we'll take you out to these a little bit. We'll find out if we're putting to the back after this. All right, welcome to you to Live and Now from Fox. Approaching midnight on the East Coast. The ballots will continue to be tabulated across the country. I do want to put up just what these live now works Howard University, the site of this Kamala Harris watch party. Two very different vibes there in Washington. Also, in West Palm Beach, Florida, the site of President Donald Trump's watch party. So, plenty to get to in terms of all of these races for the White House. We're doing race calls minute by minute with this because all those will bring it to you in real time as soon as they happen. We do want to talk about the balance of power, though, right now, of the most critical state in this race is that in Pennsylvania. From this one, David Fuller holding a lead over Bob Casey, the incumbent Democrat at this point. Right now, just under 2 points in favor of David Republican right now. Let's bring in Austin Westfall to give us a breakdown the latest on the balance of power in terms of the upper Congress, upper state of Congress being the Senate. What do you think? What are we learning? We're learning a lot. And as you just showed on the screen, Andy, we're talking about McCormick being up by roughly 2 points over Bob Casey. Bob Casey, an incumbent in Pennsylvania, 82% of the vote has been tallied. We're also seeing some votes in from Montana as well. Tim Sheehy, so far, outpacing with 14% of the vote in so far, legacy Democrat in Montana, in John Teske. Still a lot of votes to count, but nonetheless, Sheehy has a wide margin of least basis of this. So, let's pull up our map. Let's look at the balance of power right now. This is the important number. Republicans, they've got 50 right now. That's what they needed in order to get half. That means that Trump wins the presidency. Big advance becomes the vice president. That means he's the tiebreaker. That means Republicans would have control of the Senate in that scenario. But as you can see here, there are still lots of these seats up for grabs. And they are in competitive states. We're looking at states like Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Nevada, Montana. These are all states where Democrats are facing tough challenges, as you can see, all leaning red right now. So, like, very, very difficult to have where the Democrats maintain control of the Senate. We have Rich Rubio standing by. He's somebody that I've been speaking to over the weeks. We've been talking about what the most consequential races are in the Senate. We've been discussing how this thing could play out, and that it is likely that the Republicans might gain control of the Senate. But I think Rich, have him on in a moment here. I just want to cut off a little bit because I believe what we saw at the microphone was he did take that incumbent Democrat there. We did see her just a little bit here live about the clock. I can step it away in order to do it. Awesome. Let's get back to your comments because we're bringing this video right now because it's really wrapping up that the title there. Over voice. Why we're doing Rich Rubio right now on this election.
It's very competitive right now, and Republicans seem to be competitive in this year. The thought process was probably 40 each other another term. He was elected in 2006 as the incumbent for Senate 4, and then he was re-elected in 2012, re-elected in 2008. That looks like possibly Ohio. That was a statement. Sherrod Brown had to run ahead of the party and emphasize on issues like President Trump that is, and issues like trade. This is a statement too that the last two elections were 8 points for Donald Trump. This time around, looks like he's not able to do that. And we lost that race. Montana's an interesting Republican senatorial state. I'm the senator of Montana. His flagship race, leading his colleague from John Teske, the state that went on secret at the time for Donald Trump. So he's really somewhat of a survivor, having been elected.
Let's remind us, why are we talking about this so much? Why is the balance of power in the Senate critical to how powerful a president is?
Well, in order for the president to get his legislation passed, it has to pass both the House of Representatives. There are other things the president sign executive orders, but for the most part, it's compliance to the House of Representatives in the United States. At some point in the United States, might be a movement like Donald Trump to try to get rid of the filibuster. If they have all Republicans agree on that, the filibuster harder for legislation to get through because you need 60 votes really benefit.
About that, that could be in place if it is a Republican White House, and also a red House and Senate. How consequential could that be?
Very consequential. It could be very much a running head. You have Speaker of the House from New York, Central Democrat taking on the Republican Majority Leader. It could be Rick Scott, who was just Florida. What could interest you? John Thune. John Thune was a senator from South Dakota. In 2004, he was elected against Tom Daschle. Tom Daschle was the incumbent Democrat, and Tom Daschle was at the time the Senate Majority Leader out of the Massachusetts County, for South Dakota, as a leader of the United States. Probably the frontrunner is John Thune. John Thune himself could be the Majority Leader of the United States Senate. So one of those two, those are of course, John Thune is very much kind of an established Republican. Trump is elected. How we will view Donald Trump is obviously demonstrably popular with the conservative base, certainly with Republicans in South Dakota, but really needs to get Congress working in the schism between the established Republican Party, Mitch McConnell and John Thune, and the electionist, new right, if you will, of Donald Trump and J.D. Vance.
Still awaiting some permanent race calls for battleground states. You get that moment asking in general, history is any indicator. How long could it take to get House power in the lower chamber of the House?
On consumers, the most race have been on time because there are a lot of races that are very close. The state of Maine, for example, on our voting for we have one congressional race. District of Maine be very competitive. That could take a while for them to count, but they're usually a couple of congressional districts. 2-3 weeks to go until they finally have a winner. Obviously, the races are close. They're close for a reason because one of those were in upstate New York or in the suburbs of New York City as well as out in California as well. So my guess is probably going to be about 10 seats. We're probably going to take a while until we actually find out who the winner is going to be. Probably not 2 seats, but we're going to find out who's going to
be a while for that. First is called already. Some other ones take quite some time. One that might take quite some time is essentially have to continue to get their votes in where this normally get past cases. Under the run seems like ground. Ohio is burning the rain. Some of these guys have been in Congress for quite some time. They reported right now a 2 or 3. What do we make of this? And also my family is not tested yet. What do we make of
this kind of Democrats who are in, not the case of Pennsylvania, but certainly the case of Ohio and Montana. There's no longer split ticket voting. It used to be if you were elected president from one party and then a member of the House of Representatives or a senator from the other party. This is particularly true with Democrats. There's only 5 Democrats right now who represent congressional districts that were won by Donald Trump, and there's a very strong possibility that 4 of those 5 congressional districts could go toward the Republicans. There's very few people who are so bifurcated. Put their vote in Sherrod Brown in one, certainly one in the past, going back 2006, 2012, 2018, all which were years that were advantageous for the Democrats. 2024 apparently is not advantageous for the Democrats. Something that I think will certainly, I think it's certainly a delicate on Sherrod Brown running for re-election. He's a very much kind of unique Democrat, very much anti-free trade, someone who's very much of a populist. In the case of Pennsylvania, Vice Senator Casey probably was going to pull it out, but obviously there was a upswell and there was certainly probably some coattails, if you will, by President Trump. Every time Trump held a rally, just about he brought this all things being equal, currently what might happen in the
All right, we're going to get back to this in just a little bit. All right, let's switch gears and talk about the online now. Lots we're seeing stuff up to the election officials in that state of 2018. Philadelphia was
That's not so thank you.
We still have in-person results coming in, so it's still hard to predict turnout. It's up to 202,000 now ballots that we've received. Not all of those are counted because some of them are unsigned or undated. But we will have another update of now ballots later this week.
Well, again, report them as an election night, yes, out of logistical job, right? Just achieving all of these things on our website. Thank you. Our now results, 202,713. The polling place numbers were 437,427. And our posted now results in the air. Again, our website is vote.philly.gov/results. And we will post them on a rolling basis and we will continue until we stop. We're done. Thank you.
Philadelphia talking about this on the post updates in a rolling basis. Most critical states, my picture right now, because of the AP of what we're continuing to follow. They can hold it there up by the margin is a little bit minus weighted back 49.4 to 48.1 in terms of that U.S. Senate race there. We're coming about facing an uphill battle against Dave McCormick. All right, we'll follow this very, very closely. I do want to give you some race calls really quickly before we get to an interesting one in Hawaii. This one's going in favor of Vice President Kamala Harris and check mark the next 4 electoral votes as it just closed on that side. Also, the U.S. Senate there in Hawaii going for Mason Toronto. So that is in terms of the Senate in Hawaii. Just wanted to bring you that. And we're also following right now in Nebraska. Devin Fisher taking officially the check mark over in Osborne, 51.5%, 48.5%. So they're the Republican there. And Austin, I'm going to bring you the conversation right now because this was a big one, not a surprising one, but a big one. Talk about the meaning behind this. This was a surprisingly competitive race. The independent race did put up a fight. Nonetheless, we are seeing that this seat is going to stay red. What that means is that we now have 51 Republicans confirmed to have control of the Senate. 51 means no matter what, doesn't matter who wins the presidency, doesn't matter who's vice president, doesn't matter who is the tiebreaker in the Senate. The Republicans are going to control the upper chamber. There's still a question as to how much control they'll have, how many more seats can they pick up. There's still some battlegrounds. Montana, that's going to be a deep challenge for John Tester in Montana. Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania. I'll just cycle through these really quickly. So as far as the Senate goes in Wisconsin, 78% of the votes have been counted, and we're looking at just over a 2% advantage for Eric Hubty. Talking about Michigan, that's Mike Rogers versus Alyssa Slotkin. Rogers right now has just over a 4-point lead, not even half of the votes tallied yet in Michigan. Final one I'll tease out here is Pennsylvania, as you were just talking about there. McCormick right now has just over a point lead, 84% of those votes tallied. So the question is no longer which party will gain control of the Senate. The question is how much control will Republicans have. All right, very good, Austin. Thank you so much. GOP will want to take you out to a Tennessee that did go blue today, and that is in California. As we're following this, Adam Schiff takes this one over Steve Garvey, the famous Dodgers player, Padres player. He is currently at the podium making this second seat there in California. Let's listen to what he has to say.
Because you with the but there's one thing I see a little blue. I assume you're at the wrong party, but I think that you're still celebrating that Dodger World Championship. You know, winning the World Championship, I'm so proud of the boys fighting it all the time, playing for their team, and then winning in Game 5 at Yankee Stadium. Winning at Yankee Stadium is the next best thing. And of course, the '81 World Championship. Say Russell, Rose, myself, and Dusty Baker. Oh, you're all going, oh, they're going to do some fun.
Even though he finally got this over. So following that, as you said, Adam Schiff stepping up to the podium as he did California, moving chambers to the House and the Senate. Listen to this, listen to these pictures. You're alive.
From the first day I launched this campaign to the visits I've made to nearly every corner of the Golden State, from meeting with local leaders in the border community of New Mexico to seeing the restoration of redwoods north of Willits. I've met the most amazing people all across California. I've listened to your concerns, I've heard your fears, I've shared your hopes, and imagined the future that you want to see for yourselves and for your children. Because of this, every day I woke up energized and hopeful. In Bakersfield, I met with entrepreneurs who turned their passion into successful small businesses that have lifted up their communities. In Salinas, I heard from farm workers who toiled in the fields from sunrise to sundown, rain or shine, to ensure that families across the country had food on their tables. In Oakland, I felt the joy and energy of an early morning service at the Allen Temple Baptist Church. In Merced, I sat down with college students and heard about the careers they were building for themselves. In Lakewood, I saw firsthand the hard and rewarding labor of child care providers. I witnessed their patience, their kindness, and the love that they bring to their work. Our state has its struggles, like every state, but none are insurmountable because we are the Golden State and we get big things done. And my promise to you is that I'm going to deliver on day one, week one, year one, and keep on delivering for this amazing state. Because together there is no challenge that we cannot overcome. We leave no community behind. We do not stop, we do not rest until all our citizens have a safe place to live, clean water to drink, clean air to breathe, safe neighborhoods to raise their children, good hospitals, clinics, and healthcare, and the best public schools in the world. Pursuit of this dream for all our people, I will not rest, California. In the Senate, I will be a champion and voice for all Californians, whether you voted for me or not, whether you live in a big city or a small county, whether you grew up here or came to America searching for a better life. We are going to build more affordable housing so that you aren't forced to choose between your rent and putting food on the table. We are going to ensure that our fellow neighbors do not have to sleep on the street. We are going to help hardworking families by lowering costs. We are going to fight tooth and nail to protect abortion access and defend democracy and our freedoms. We are going to bring resources and jobs back to the Golden State to create opportunity for all Californians.
We're going to fight on behalf of our dream workers, our farm workers, our immigrant families, so they no longer have to live in the shadows. We are going to protect our planet, fight climate change, and bring good paying green jobs here to California. It is a big task, I know, but we can do it. We are going to do it together. I'm determined to fight every single day on behalf of this great state and its great people. And I am so thankful for your trust and your support. And I can't wait to do this job with you together. I want to thank my incredible wife, Eve, and yes, we are Adam and Eve. My kids, Lexi and Eli. Lexi's boyfriend, Eric, gets a shout out. My brother, Daniel, and his wife, Amy. My brother, David, and his family. My nieces and my nephews, and of course, the one the world revolves around, baby Maya. I could not have done this without your endless love and support, and it's so wonderful to get to celebrate with you tonight. Eve, I don't know where to begin, but this Adam would be lost without this Eve. I love you, and I'm grateful to you for your strength and love. Lexi and Eli, being your dad is my favorite job in the world. I love you, and I am so proud of you. And I also want to acknowledge my mother and father, Cheryl and Ed Schiff. While they're no longer with us, I wouldn't be standing here but for their love and guidance and support. My father lived to be 96. He passed earlier this year. And I so wish he could be here with us tonight. Dad, give Mom a hug. Tell her I hope she's still not upset with me for not being a doctor. I also want to thank every volunteer and supporter who made calls, sent texts, knocked on doors, and chipped in a few bucks, because your hard work not only made this Senate race possible, but you are going to deliver the House of Representative majority to Hakeem Jeffries tonight. And I want to thank Nancy Pelosi, the greatest of all time, the most incredible speaker in our history, for her friendship, her mentorship, her leadership. There was no one who stood more in the breach defending our democracy than Nancy Pelosi, and I thank you. We set out to build the largest grassroots campaign in California history, and I think we hit the mark. To my wonderful staff, I thank you. You are all dedicated public servants who committed countless hours, nights, weekends to this effort, and this victory is also yours. To my wonderful constituents in the 30th Congressional District who have supported me for over 25 years, I cannot thank you enough for your confidence in the honor of representing you. I hope that I have served you well and made you proud. And to my new constituents all over the state, whether you voted for me or not, I am committed to being a champion for every Californian in every corner of this wonderful state. California, I thank you for your trust. I am grateful to serve as your U.S. Senator. Now, let's get to work. Thank you, California. Thank you, everyone. God bless this state and country. Thank you so much. Madam Schiff, you're there alongside his wife, after securing this, the Senate passed by the late Diane Feinstein. So, you're happy. Adam Schiff there, all there. Also talking about how he's hopeful. He definitely should be a House of Representatives. Calling that the latest year on that Senate. I do want to talk more about another regional another electoral vote going into college for Vice President Kamala Harris' secure district to vote 84%. And again, so it's 230 to 200. Past the top of the hour, 12:28 a.m. Eastern time. So we're following the latest year all of this online. We'll get out to more of this in terms of the race of the live here all these
Florida. It's on this microphone still set up in front of this. I don't know how soon. Speakers, and also at Howard University on that campus. The alma mater of President Kamala Harris are the latest with this race for the White House. I'm in that. Get back up to this. All right, welcome back to the White House. Clock just past midnight on the East Coast, and we're learning now from the years of campaign. Eventually, some uncertainty goes turbulence within that those campaigns. Despite what we're seeing on the campus of Howard University, this watch party, as we're continuing to follow the race for the White House, bringing right now to the conversation of what we're hearing, what we're reporting at Fox is reporting for Julia Evans, for Julia break it all down. What are we hearing? Other CEOs doing inside that area?
Yeah, and right when they say that the nervous system, going out for a again, I want to show you again, it's got our social series right now. Keeping a close eye on all of those storylines that are popping up online, and this is one of them. Now, well, what you're looking at, she's on her report shot of an email that was sent out to her Jen O'Malley couch instructing patience and resolve. This was a message that was sent to all campaign staff and was also members of who were outside of the campaign, but hopeful for the party trying to get a sense of hope. She does say in this email that we have known all along this is party in the Harris campaign is coming for laying out the new law Constitution and Pennsylvania. Those are the states that they're calling to be to be right now. None of those states have been called as of yet. The only battleground state that's been called is of course North Carolina, but those battleground states, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan have not been called, and this is what the Harris campaign is now holding up for. Again, making this memo known on social media. Well, I sent it out to working for President Kamala Harris, saying everything that General Allen said previously. We're looking forward to tomorrow. It's only hours. So, Andy, that's on social media as it pertains to Kamala Harris. Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Let's continue on discussing this, the latest turbulence within the you want to put up this tweet. I'm talking about this, live now for Fox, talking about resources, quotes, and parents on US of the church, it may be too narrow to overcome one source and narrow when it's her path is so narrow that she's not doing what she needs to do in Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, I saw hours ago on accurate. They need to suddenly outperform those who don't believe that will happen. Talked about this in second source. Most of the parents over 100% profit very good. This number are higher than counties where you should be losing by larger margins. I think we're losing this during work and there is maybe coming out not for another hour. So that's reporting there from Fox and Jack about what we're learning with this. Find out not a lot of calls, North Carolina calls for something. Michigan, Wisconsin, call at this point as well. All right, let's continue on here on Live Out Fox. Let's bring in my colleague off the West Wall, also what we're doing. Which I want to ask you, how concerning is it? How real are these things?
There's a lot of uncertainty. There's probably a lot of pessimism. Places specifically, it's not that they were going to do a lot better. Happening is that Donald Trump is overperforming. There's still a path, certainly the Vice President Harris right now. I have the election. Right now, the results.
Of course, blue wall states are Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania. That was in 1992. These three states voted as a unit. Most of the time, they voted blue. Voted red. Why do these three states tend to vote as a unit? Do you understand?
Yes, and they're very similar, although Pennsylvania is not a big West state, it's more of a northeastern state. Of course, of both states. A lot of those, what's very important is for the white collar voters, even with the writing Democratic station back to the Democratic Party, where Clinton place, where Barack Obama place, and Donald Trump. I think part of that is, for example, disproportionate on some of these parts of these states as a result of a lot of job losses and bipartisan support. After, for example, a lot of Republicans were kind of free trade Republicans. Now that you have Donald Trump, and Donald Trump is starting to go left essentially of the vice president of the Democratic Party on trade, talking about tariffs. A lot of traditional Democrats, for the first time, you're seeing that. The problem Democrats have is something that Bernie Sanders had in 2016. Very similar positions on issues like trade. Republicans do not have the traditional kind of like the work was, they try to become more and more popular and more friendly to workers. Trying to unlock that, what we would is a hammerlock the Democrats had from 1992.
I want to ask you a little more about Trump and the movement that is behind it. I want to put several posts here on this one that's saying there is still no sign of Harris at a rapidly watch party in Howard University. Their own father speaking to the really deserves not appear to contrast to what we're seeing now at the Donald Trump party. I believe we have a post there of him arriving at this Mar-a-Lago process. Donald Trump arrived at Mar-a-Lago election night party there with some numbers, Trump's numbers are higher than expected in counties where he's losing by larger and larger. What do you make of that? Trump is, his numbers are higher than expected in some of the counties about his campaign and what they're expecting.
So back in 1980, Tom Bradley is the mayor of running for governor of California. He was African American. Also, he was then people went to the poll and Tom Bradley ended up being one of the arguments why he lost the race is the so-called Bradley. Not vote for African American and other factors as well. I was 20%. Obviously, for the portion of that. But Bradley, you understand? Suburbs of places like Philadelphia help pollsters because they don't know who the pollster is. This is all speculation. They can be telling pollsters that they vote for Donald, that they're not going to vote for Donald Trump, but once they go in there, $1 billion, if you will, they end up actually voting for Donald Trump. So that's one scenario. Donald Trump's effort, they might get better get up the vote now. Get up the vote effort, and they might have ground game, perhaps that ground game was kind of underappreciated.
Talk a little bit about Georgia. This is one state which focusing in on in Georgia. It's interesting. Georgia right now has 93 votes counted right now. Trump has about a little bit over Harris in the following races so closely for so long. And you don't want to use this press. That's who's calling these races for us. But when you look at these figures, what do you say about Harris's change?
It looks very dim. Obviously, 100% of turnout. It's obviously very close, but perhaps she did not maximize the votes. She did get county. Strategy, she actually just riding through South Georgia, Southwest Georgia, rural parts of Georgia, some of whom were traditionally Republican areas to try to minimize the damage. I think really thought it would. Bill Clinton went to the many parts of southern Georgia, traditionally culturally conservative. He would only fight against it. It looks like Barack Obama did this kind of fight. They seem to trade water now, and that they want to be Georgia is a very interesting state, certainly. As well as some areas out of the southwestern part of the state. But it's very interesting to see what the final result is.
I asked you about that because we're reports about that county, how are we up there? Talk about maybe some of the areas around the land. How strong are they for Kamala Harris? How important are some of those kind of areas around there? How critical will be?
It's a very interesting state. Right around Atlanta, you have areas like, for example, you run into places like Marietta and Sandy Springs, which was actually used to be very Republican. We do represent that area for so it was very conservative. Donald Trump is kind of inhospitable to them. Consequently, running now the Democratic Congresswoman, for example, it's become more and more Democrat. I think this is what we're seeing around the country. It's part of the Trump effect, right? Trump does very well in rural areas of the country. Tries to build culture in some of the suburban areas where Republicans back up the margins. They feel kind of kind of populist type of what around Redford areas where not very much places like Marietta, where there's really not much of a southern accent.
about Wayne County. We see behind me here 55% of the votes have been tallied in Wayne County. Right now, Harris has 58% of the vote. Going back to Biden election 4 years ago, Biden won that county with 68% of the vote. Why is this particular county? This is one of the largest areas in the country. Can you tell us about how their vote factors into this election? Ross Warren has been a major talking point.
Yes, very interesting. We started Donald Trump the last weekend. Actually, don't think Michigan has the largest share of Muslim and Arab American voters per capita. But I think that there's a lot of this last time around Joe Biden won 86% of the Muslim vote. This time around, there was a poll by the Center for Islamic American Relations. So Jill Stein, the Green Party candidate, in that community, was just talking about Muslim Americans, was actually the rally of the vote. It's not that they necessarily like Jill Stein per se, it's kind of saying arms embargo and President Harris for arms to Israel and Gaza. So there's really has been a lot of disaffected Muslim voters. Some of them are going to Donald Trump, some of them will be going to Stein, and some of them are going to certainly stay with President Harris, but Donald Trump is winning every backed up. So there's county certainly really been a problem for the Democrats. Right now, a lot of those anti-Vietnam War protesters to the Democratic side this time around. But Harris has had this very similar problem trying to tell them that people are different from Joe Biden that she sort of a ceasefire, but certainly he's under the numbers as well as pre-Israel Gaza war. On all of the ways all of this time. Again, all right, let's get to what we're following here on my of all of these things. Some of these hotly contested battleground states in Georgia. I want to start this. Donald Trump there and lead almost over 2 points. Pennsylvania is even higher. Following the way this gets down, as a key Senate seat up for grabs right now, Dave Republican does lead by just 1 percentage point. Dave Republican now some of it riled up at this stage. Online now. We're also seeing movement right now in the West Palm Beach to actually watch parties for the microphone, getting everything out at this point, but we're following the latest news well past midnight now, 40 minutes past midnight here on Live Now for Fox for this. All right, let's slide away. Continue here. Let me put up this before we go to break. I do post from Jack Adler, reporting here saying two sources tell Jack Adler postal campaigns will not address the crowd at Howard tonight. Said that Richmond will come out and give remarks there. Expected to speak tomorrow. And you can imagine the crowd there at Howard University, supported by this. Some of them hearing some about this and leaving for the night tomorrow. This election now. Let's try to wait for a quick headline.
live now from Fox. We're learning that no Kamala Harris tonight at that podium at Howard University. Instead, it will be a Cedric Richmond Bears and co-chair of the Harris. This will be what you have to say. Live on Fox tomorrow.
But you will hear from her tomorrow. She will be back here tomorrow to address not only the 8-2 family, not only to address her supporters, but to address the nation. So thank you. We believe in you. May God bless you. May God keep you. And go 8-2 and go Harris. Thank you all.
A quick speech there from Cedric Richmond, the Harris campaign co-chair, saying Kamala Harris will not come out tonight, encouraging people to return tomorrow to Howard University. Alma mater to see her speak. The crowd filtering out very, very quickly after this. Well past midnight, 12:45 on the East Coast, and the crowds all dispersing, disappointing not to see the Vice President there addressing the crowd. As we're still learning about 70 in place. We're also monitoring this live picture right now in West Palm Beach, Florida, at Mar-a-Lago, is West Palm Beach, where former President Donald Trump is intended to see plenty of camera phones out right now. I don't know if everybody is I don't know if the right check is going to be placed, but let's just continue to give you a roundup of what we're learning. Some of the battleground states only called that one being North Carolina called a check mark next to his name for President Donald Trump. We have not heard other checks being from supporters to the crowd gathered to see amount of enthusiasm on the ground there at this watch party. Almost 1 o'clock in the morning. He was in Grand Rapids about 24 hours ago exactly at the final stop of this. Of course, he was at the West Palm Beach in attendance for this just down the road from Mar-a-Lago. Excitement there, contrast to what's going on right now on election night at West Palm Beach to what's going on at Howard University. The contrast of what we're looking at right there, right now. All right, let's go into the conversation one more time with you. We did hear from Trump in just a second, but we did hear there at Howard University. Rich, this is obviously not what we wanted to hear from Howard University. How unusual is it to not hear from one of the presidents on election night? And what do you make of that speech?
Very rare. What the kind of based on what's going on is I don't know. I think there's certainly precedent for that. For example, back in 1976 when Gerald Ford lost, he literally lost his voice in all the campaigns. Betty Ford had to leave his speech, but I think it's very interesting. Tomorrow, I don't think it's going to be settled. I don't think this election will be settled for certainly in the
Rich, we've been watching and see how happy they are, all of those red caps at this Trump event in Palm Beach, Florida. We still have not gotten official race calls from the Associated Press for Georgia, Pennsylvania, and for Wisconsin. If I can here, if you'll take me a poll, and I want to figure out how exactly Trump's path could lead into victory. So we've been talking all day about how Georgia, North Carolina, and Pennsylvania. Well, on top of that, he's also going to have to do Alaska. That's as long as everything falls the way that we expect it to. Expect eventually Alaska will be called in the red. These two little areas, Alaska, one in Maine as well. Let's just talk about this now. Ultimately, it's looking like states like Michigan, Wisconsin, Arizona. Is it very possible that some of these battleground states won't end up mattering?
Yeah, theoretically, it's one candidate who wins 5 or 6 of the swing states is pretty much over. I don't think that's going to be a scenario. I think that every battleground state will matter. It's the fact that battleground state is the first time you go back to 1980, battleground state. But I just want to say something called the Blue Dot District. That's right around Omaha, and that's the college, kind of a college town, it's the only part of Nebraska that is blue. That's very contested. The reason Maine is right around Fort area is very liberal, but if you go to the second, what the second congressional district, which starts right around Lewiston, Auburn, and bottom, goes all the way up to Caribou, very rural district. That's a little bit more red. And that's why those things matter. And it's theoretically a possibility that one day, with one candidate musters just 269 electoral votes, that one electoral vote could put that person over the top. That's why Tim Walz, for example, Nebraska trying to get a blue dot district in favor of the Democrats.
Rich, I do want to ask you because we're expected to hear from both President Donald Trump here coming up here, as well as Trump expected to speak verbally at the campaign block party in Palm Beach as the YMCA walkout zone comes on and Secret Service clears the lobby area here. So we could, in a matter of moments, hear from the president. Well, I want to ask you just historical context because Donald Trump has been in this scenario before some of these check marks have been placed by his name or by other people. What are we expecting to hear from him tonight? Could we come out and say that he won the election even though he called for it? What can we hear from Donald Trump at this meeting?
That is very possible. Back in 2020, he essentially came out and said, he was at the White House at the time, that he believed he would win. But there was a very formidable possibility that he could take something like that. My guess is that so far this year, trying to be cautious just so something come in, walk away, and then hope that tomorrow the key will be I think that's Vice President Harris, but right now we really don't not stay full possibility. Harris is that's why how she's trying to strategize what's going to happen tomorrow.
So let's just talk about what's the treatment. Race is not called yet. Let's talk about that. The race called by the Associated Press at this hour. But what is order of operations? Yes, does it start with one candidate making a personal phone call to the other?
Yes, that's how it's supposed to work. One candidate makes a phone call, say that they pursue my opponent. Something to that effect. Usually the protocol, I don't know by the time right now. Vice President Harris would call up and give us call up will come on, kind of a fodder for that. There's a blowout like early Carter by the US 21. Called up former California Governor Ronald Reagan early and took on his house Wayne started the doing that for about 10 house seats. Happened was a lot of people took the issue Democrats from California. Washington State did not go out and vote because they were depressed. And lost the race. So sometimes if you race family, it's the party. So the candidates that are around here, voters to come out, it's better for that. Sometimes so that's the candidate. Race possible. 2,000 Al Gore. Are you saying that there's something like yours with Al Gore fantasy?
Historical context that all previous election cycles and see what happened before. I do want to get to some here online now. Fox News is projecting that Trump will win Georgia, but at this point, we are relying on that. Press in a particular way has not called this president the 6 votes yet for Trump. At this point, so the old is a bit of lead for Fox News reporting that Donald Trump will take that. Not at this point. Let's talk about that. often Rich with us Washington Senate seat there in Pennsylvania. Let's take us to now here and hear from him right now.
Thank you. What a great group of friends. We are so honored to have you all here today. How about you? And I are partners in this whole thing. And without her is understatement. This is something we decided to do together. Something that we felt honored to try to do. It's a mountain to climb. And none of this would have ever happened without Dina. So thank you. And now I just ask the question, who's ready to save America? Good. This election night's not quite over, but about 85% of the vote. We've looked at where all the rest are coming, and it looks like we're headed in a very good direction. Started this, I looked at the country, we feel like we've been blessed by everything America has to offer. Two of the luckiest people in the world. But that opportunity, that American dream is slipping away. We got to get it back for every single Pennsylvanian and every single American. And we need to leadership where then every single kid in Pennsylvania has the opportunity to be all that they can be, regardless of party, race, the opportunity for every single person. We need to create an economy that works for everybody. We need to secure our border. We need to have energy policy that protects the environment but also makes us secure and creates jobs. The bottom line is we need leadership. We don't have it, and we're going to get it. And so, listen, in the coming days, the election results will be finalized. And when they are, we will look forward to a new agenda, a new America. And we'll look back on this day today and we'll say that was the day that we turned the corner. That was the day that we had new leadership in Pennsylvania. That was the day that we got our country back on track. You know, I think most of you probably know I had the opportunity to go to West Point, and my brother went to West Point, and my mom and dad went with us to West Point for 8 years in a row. And I've come back for 35 years. We took them back last fall. With Dina's parents as well, and we walked past the MacArthur statue, and it has a very famous speech etched in granite, and the speech says, "Duty on the country." Those three hallowed words readily dictate what you ought to be, what you can be, what you will be. They are your rallying point. Build courage when courage seems to fail. Create faith when there seems little cause for faith. And to create hope when hope becomes forlorn. That makes sense to me because this is a moment where we don't have enough leaders showing courage. This is a moment where Americans are losing faith. This is a moment where America is losing hope. But we can turn that page. We can look forward. We can have an America that works for everybody. It starts now. It starts with this election. It starts right here in Pennsylvania. So from the bottom of our hearts, we have been so honored to campaign across Pennsylvania. 450 visits, every little town and every city. And the people we've met along the way have given us hope. They've given us faith. They've given us courage to want to represent and serve the great people of our Commonwealth. It'll be the honor of our lifetimes. Thank you very much.
As he leads this Senate race against incumbent Casey right there in Pittsburgh, Wilkie Harris, and of course, we saw Wilkie Harris yesterday on the final day of the eve of the election. So we're still awaiting to hear from the vote representatives of West Palm Beach, Florida. I do want to put up this here just to give you a sense of what we're looking at at that Senate seat, the Republican does have a lead, almost 2 points over the incumbent Bob Casey right now in that state. So very critical swing vote eventually as a incumbent could be flipped in terms of blue to red right now. So we're following the latest here on this, and we do want to give you another call. Fox News reporting this just a little bit ago. We are relying on this issue right here about Georgia, and you're just hearing this call coming in right now at this point, talking about Donald Trump winning Georgia here around 1 o'clock in the morning on the East Coast. So that part next to the name of the poll president right now over Kamala Harris, the vice president. So it is now 2:46, closing in ever closer to that 70 mark right now, 24 away at this point. Kamala Harris 210 right now for this. So let's just continue on. I do want to give you just a contrast of what we saw just a little bit ago on Florida at this event. What's coming up just a little bit, but also what we heard from Howard University in Washington, D.C. Cedric Richmond did break remarks to a crowd, telling the crowd there that Kamala Harris would not be making a speech tonight. Let's listen right now back out to this because it was very brief, 90-second remarks from him, the co-chair of the Harris campaign. Let's listen to what he had to say. Evening, Howard. Good evening, PHU. I want to say good evening to all of Harris campaign, the campaign family. Thank you for all that you have done. Thank you for believing in the promise of America. We still have votes to count. We still have states that have not been called yet. We will continue overnight to fight to make sure that every vote is counted and every voice has spoken. So you won't hear from the vice president tonight, but you will hear from her tomorrow. She will be back here tomorrow to address not only the HC family, not only to address her supporters, but to address the nation. So thank you. We believe in you. May God bless you. May God keep you. And go HU and go Harris. Thank you all. Just a little bit ago, we wanted to bring you those because it was only 90 seconds. Brief remarks saying that Kamala Harris would not be speaking to her supporters tonight here on this election eve. We also are expecting to hear from in West Palm Beach, Florida. You can see the crowd already on their feet. The scene. This comes as we are learning that Trump, AP is calling it in favor. Georgia going for Trump right now. Let's continue on. Right now, before we hear from Trump, the next question as well. How critical was Georgia in culture? How closer
important state to state that no point in time March 1996, Barack Obama was the president. Barack Obama, rather, so it's a very critical state. Driving around the spread, going around the state on event to event, they spent an enormous amount of time trying to muster the electoral. Right here, North Carolina, one last time, Georgia was still fighting barely time by about 11,000 votes. It's obviously is something that is for the Trump campaign.
Yeah, ultimately, I'll play this out for us. We're talking about Trump with 247 electoral votes. 23 more. Pennsylvania has 19 electoral votes. Michigan has 15. Wisconsin 10. I've already gone over some of these little districts in Nebraska. Actually, this is the first time I'm seeing that. I see some results out of Nevada. Let's pull this up. 75% of the votes being tallied. Looks like Trump has 51% of the vote. Harris with 47.6% of the vote. So it looks like Trump has a 3-point advantage in Nevada with 3/4 of the vote tabulated. Rich.
Nevada is a state that only has 6 electoral votes, really the smallest of the showdown states. It's a state that if you go back to last week, last Friday, for example, Vice President Harris was in Reno, Donald Trump was in North Las Vegas. You have Clark County, which is 70% of the state. Las Vegas, which tends to be more Democrat, and you have Reno, Carson City, kind of up on the edge, kind of on the north part of the state. And there's a lot of very rural counties. Sometimes it's very hard to have a ground game because we're talking about very few voters. Maximize yourself in some of those kind of rural areas for the Republicans. It's a very much Republican president. But it certainly does not vote for President Harris. Obviously, the same, but the election, even if it's critical, not to a political future.
So that is a very good point, Rich. Is we're beginning to follow the latest in all of this. I do want to put up just the other one because I think Austin talked about it where it was 23. We were talking about it just a little bit ago. It was 24, but this was one vote, the one electoral vote that he did out of Nebraska, District 1. There, Donald Trump winning that one as it's a little bit interesting one in Nebraska and the state as well. As you're looking at this, the electoral college, the race, the 70, talk about Pennsylvania being so very, very important. What other states could be you're focusing on over the next day to get into that 275?
I think it's those blue wall states, Wisconsin. They were all states from 1916, the Democrat every single year, including John Kerry in 2004 when he lost. Donald Trump was able to up in his opponent. All three of those states. Very hard to see a scenario of giving two of those states much of this president. Right now it's showing a couple of points ahead. So not impossible for Vice President Harris to win here, but kind of be victorious.
Rich, thank you very much for all the informative. I mean, the always informative Rich Rubino, one of my favorite people to talk politics with. We appreciate you on this big night.
Thank you. I greatly enjoyed it.
Thank you so much, Rick. We appreciate your time. As always, we'll let you sign off as well as we continue on. But we're going to hear. Of course, we're following it very closely here on Live Now. Fox and live picture there inside of this convention hall as well. So he will be soon to take the stage. Let's find a way for a quick news break. We'll be back.
Milwaukee Party for former President Donald Trump doing receiving a live load as RFK Jr. and we were expecting the former president to make some remarks already the day after election day has passed. And thank you all for sticking with us here throughout this day, and it keeps on going from Hana. So once again, a couple of answers points on the top here. We also have close to look at the podium here with president to speak up, make some remarks. Not really sure when it started at this point, but it's just one of the stories that we continue to follow. And so while we wait for this to get underway, let's kind of backtrack a little bit and talk about what we have seen throughout these last several hours. So to do that, I would like to bring you to and my colleague and friend here, Austin Westfall. Austin has been with us all day long today, and man, a lot of stuff happened. Austin.
Corral, good to be with you as we close out our evening here. Our West Coast news. Let's pull up the map we've been staring at all night. Let's just get a gist of where things stand right now. Harris is at 210. Trump is just 23 electoral votes away. 23 electoral votes away from the big prize.